Hey guys, good morning everyone. If you're new here, I'm Brian Craig, and of course this is Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show.
I love you guys, I love you guys, I love you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Give Mike at Friendly Tire a call right now. We'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
Make sure you subscribe, click that notification bell, and like the video. That helps a lot.
Kane, and I want to tell you about the bell.
All right, here we go. This is our top of the hour break at the start of the show.
It stops me from tossing and turning. I feel less anxious at night, and I get a full night's sleep, which I haven't had in years. I go to sleep in it, and then I put my meditation on at night, and I am out in no time. And I sleep the whole night through. I'm not tossing and turning. It's really amazing. So I want you to go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener specials. You're going to save 30% when you use the promo KANE. That's Kane. Sweet dreams with the MyPillow weighted blanket. You're going to love it.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group and find out what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And now, here's Steve Kane.
Hey guys, good morning everyone. My name is Brian, and this of course is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. It is Thursday, the 18th of March, 2021. Welcome. So much going on, so much happening. You know, this story with John Kerry without a mask on the American Airlines flight, I know on the face of it, people will say, oh, there's bigger stories out there. That's nothing. What's the big deal? Well, it is a big deal. It is a big deal. And, you know, this, so people understand, if you, listen to this now, the FAA, Federal Aviation Commission, or administration that is, it'd be the FCC if it was a commission, right? FAC, it's early, cut me some slack. The Federal Aviation Administration says that 2 passengers could face tens of thousands of dollars in fines. That's right, for refusing orders from flight attendants to wear masks. One woman faces a potential fine of $20,000 for not wearing a mask. Here's a story from just 6 days ago on a JetBlue flight. A JetBlue passenger facing $14,500 in fines for not wearing a mask on an aircraft. And there are stories like this all over the place. So, this is the problem when you're dealing with government control over your lives. And this is one of many, many examples. Do as I say, not as I do. You know, you've got John Kerry who wants to limit the movement of everyday people in this world, really, as the climate czar. Yet he flies around on private planes and people talk, well, I'm busy, I need to fly around. See, you know, whenever you have people in government who are passing strong and strict laws against people, oftentimes you will find stories like this. Okay, and this story is not a small story. And the story has become a global story, not just a national story, a global story because of Don Jr. retweeting it. Someone took a photograph that was on the flight with John Kerry of him maskless, tweeted it. Somehow Don Jr. saw it. I don't know if they tagged him or something. Don Jr. retweeted it, and it's everywhere. On Wednesday, Donald Trump Jr. tweeted an image that appeared to show John Kerry sitting in first class Now, I'll tell you it's amazing about this story. You know what's really amazing about this story? That John Kerry was on a commercial flight. First class, of course. It says here, an image that appeared to show John Kerry sitting in the first class section of a plane with a mask hanging from one ear, but not covering his nose or mouth. John Kerry responded on Twitter saying he only uncovered his face for a short time and said that it feels like there's some St. Patrick's Day malarkey afoot on Twitter. That's John Kerry, malarkey. That's a Biden word. They're bringing it back from the 50s and 60s. If I drop my mask to one ear on a flight, it was momentary, Kerry said. I wear my mask because it saves lives and stops the spread. It's what the science tells us to do. American Airlines is investigating the incident. And by the way, masks are required on all flights according to a directive from the Transportation Security Administration, the TSA. And those who are found in violation face fines ranging from $250 for the first offense up to $1,500 for repeat offenders. And then Don Jr. tweeted, spotted liberal hypocrite and Biden administration official John Kerry flouting Joe Biden's federal mask mandate. Note, his mask is off. He isn't eating or drinking. Will he be fined for breaking the law and banned from flying American Airlines like regular citizens would be? Hashtag liberal privilege. Okay, that's Don Jr.'s tweet. There's rules, this is what you've always got to watch out for with government. And this is not a small issue. It's not a small story. Not only is he breaking the order of Biden, who he directly works for, but he's breaking a rule that would get you or me possibly banned from flying again on American Airlines. And these are stories that have to be talked about, they have to be exposed, and they have to be discussed. Could you imagine? Think about this now. What if this was Donald Trump, Don Jr., Eric, or even Jared Kushner? What if one of them were on a plane like this with a mask hanging off their ear, Biden style? It would be a top and bottom of the hour news story with endless panel discussions all day long, talking about whether or not they should be banned from future commercial flights, and how they're endangering people on the flight that they were on. Another example, I know, there's a hypocrisy. Liberals are never called out. I know this story doesn't surprise. I don't care. These stories still have to be exposed. And the double standard has to be talked about as well. I don't accept, that's a double standard. I don't accept that. Part of what we do in talk radio and others is expose the double standard. Don't let them just get away with things that we or our people would, sometimes be taken out of, public life for doing things that liberals get away with. I mean, can you imagine if it was Ron DeSantis, the greatest governor in America today? Incredible job. Could you imagine if Ron DeSantis had one woman claiming he hit on her? You've got, I don't know how many claiming Cuomo did. He's going to finish out his term, and he might get elected again. He might find himself replacing Schumer in the Senate after this. Ron DeSantis would be done. Yes, there's a double standard, but that doesn't mean we're not going to talk about it. All right, now, there's a lot of issues I'm going to bring up today. I'll keep it, even though it's not Friday, I'll keep it loosely open phones so far as you're relevant to the discussion. We can stray off topic a little bit so long as it's relevant to what's going on right now in our news and political lives at 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. I see that I was right about Bongino yesterday being picked up to replace Rush on a whole bunch of radio stations. I made the announcement before Bongino, and everyone's talking about that now. And I'm just still a little upset about it. A couple other things, though, that I want to mention here in the beginning before we get into some of the more extensive discussions. This tragic and terrible monster that drove around Georgia shooting up the massage parlors. The guy is a cold-blooded murderer. And I don't know what the full prosecution can be in the state of Georgia. I don't know what the Georgia laws are, but I hope he is prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law and convicted. What he did was god-awful. God-awful. And as I suspected yesterday, a dialogue has begun. I heard a little bit of it yesterday, even though the guy confessed and said his motivation was different. There's a dialogue going on blaming President Trump for these shootings, because Biden last week in his address to the nation talked about a rise in hate crimes against Americans of Asian descent or Asian immigrants, Asians in America. I don't know if there's a rise in hate crimes against Asians or not. Yesterday was a very unusual thing, and there probably is a rise because of that. Things like that don't happen very often. And there are protests I've seen in the news today throughout the country against hate crimes committed against Asians. Conservatives, President Trump, MAGA people, me, you, we're against violence of any kind, against anyone, no matter what their background is. What happened is god-awful. But the dialogue that is going on in this country about it through the news media could not be more inaccurate, and also doing harm to many of these women. It's a sad reality that now hopefully we'll get more information on the victims in these incidents. I'll read through a story or two as we go on, but I just want to get a couple things out before we get bogged down in the details. But we'll get more information soon, I hope, as to the different massage parlors. But what this guy said was this, that he's a sex addict who I guess has a problem with prostitutes. And he did this because of his out-of-control urges. He was trying to, of course, this is no excuse, and it shows not insanity. It shows that this was a very calculated murder spree that he went on. But they want to tie this to Trump, and they're trying to. And the sheriff had made some comment on a T-shirt a year ago, and that is dealing with this case, and they're trying to tie this to Trump and talk about anger towards Asian Americans because of Trump rhetoric involving, the pandemic. This is a reality in this country that many, now we don't know about these particular women in these particular massage parlors that were targeted by this animal for sure yet, but it is a fact that massage parlors throughout this country are brothels, that many of the women who work there are not working there by choice, but are like indentured servants, maybe even slaves. There's certainly exploitation going on in these massage parlors throughout the country. Remember, there was the one here in Florida, in Jupiter, where the owner of the Patriots got busted, a prostitution ring. And as opposed to making this a thing about Trump and MAGA, what this really is an opportunity for is to crack down on the sex trafficking, the sex slavery that's going on in these massage parlors throughout the country. I've seen many stories over the years of prostitution rings and prostitution busts at these massage parlors. You guys know this is true. And right now, that's an attack on women. It's sex trafficking. It's exploitation. It's many, many things going on here. Many of them are not citizens. Many of them are people who came here as immigrants. They made some deals with some bad people, and they found themselves in servitude in these places. That's a reality. And I haven't heard anyone in the day since this happened talk about how women in these places are being victimized, held against their will, and being forced into sex servitude throughout this country and pretty much every community in America. They're so busy wanting to make it a partisan issue against Trump, the Trump derangement syndrome. These people, any opportunity to grab on to Trump derangement syndrome and run and blame something for Trump, even though he's out of office right now, they're going to jump on it. So this is an opportunity to help women, just like in New York with Cuomo. When will the left, where are the feminist organizations defending women. The Me Too movement should be all over these massage parlors. This is an opportunity that doesn't happen very often. And the opportunity is to put a spotlight on the terrible situations in these massage parlors that are going on. But no, they want to make this about Trump because they don't like Trump, the media. The media are not in the news business. They're in the covering up news business is what they're in. You know, President Trump did a lot to stop sex trafficking, right? A lot of his border security measures involved stopping sex trafficking. And he also shut down that Backpage website where the prostitutes, not just in this country, but worldwide, were being advertised. President Trump should have been given a Nobel Peace Prize just for the work that he did stopping sex trafficking, not just here, but throughout the world when he shut down Backpage. And I haven't read one story or seen one story on television, and I've seen many because a lot of coverage is going into this god-awful shooting at the massage parlors. I haven't seen one that talked about the sex servitude, the sex slavery, women being forced to live a life as prostitutes. And have you heard any? No, they're not. So anyway, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Your calls are welcome. We'll get into some more detail on that and some other issues as well. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things
Exactly.
about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach for my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And you know, Barry says every 3 years at least you gotta. I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, you know, most people would just blow you off, right? Yeah. You know, almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. I was quite a while with him, and talked about a lot of things, you know, and this and that. But I wanted to say, you know, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all have that you can trust them and you know you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Brian Craig here. You've heard me tell you how I Will Advisors can help you solve your Medicare planning problems. And they've been a valued friend of our community for years. They also want to help you retire and stay retired with the income plan you need for a successful retirement. Call Debbie Klatzoff and Dan Frazier at I Will Advisors right now, 954-753-8080. Have them do a free, customized income for life report for you today. They can help you see if you have a plan that works for you and put your mind at ease. Call Debbie and Dan at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080, 954-753-8080. I Will Advisors, your financial planning partners.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, guys, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. So here we go. Stop Asian Hate marches took place across the United States Wednesday in the wake of a mass shooting which left 6 Asian women dead at 3 Georgia massage parlors. Okay, we're all against hate. We're all against people committing violence. We're all against people committing violence against individuals based on anything, whether they want their money or they don't like their ethnicity or whatever it may be. We're all opposed to that. But when I'm going to read through this story about these Stop Asian Hate marches, and this shooting wasn't about Asians. It was about prostitution And let's find out if they mention in this anything about the sex servitude that women are being forced to be put through in these situations. I have not read this article that I'm about to share with you. Okay, I'm reading through this cold. It's in the Daily Mail. Let's see if they mention that. Okay, Stop Asian Hate marches took place across the United States Wednesday in the wake of a mass shooting which left 6 Asian women dead at 3 Georgia massage parlors. Crowds gathered in California, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C., New York City, and Washington State after Robert Aaron Long, 21, was charged with killing 8 people Tuesday. The shooting came on the back of a year of pandemic-fueled racist attacks and sparked the hashtag Stop Asian Hate to top trend on Twitter throughout the day. Yeah, I don't want anybody hating anyone. Asians, Caucasians, African American, I don't care who, I don't want anybody hating. Pictures show activists gathered in solidarity with the Asian American community in Philadelphia and in the Chinatown area of D.C. Wednesday night. John Chen, executive director of the Philadelphia Chinatown Development Corporation, told WHYY television, the Asian American community here in Philadelphia, they're on edge. I think there's a sentiment and fear and anxiety that it could have happened to anybody here because when we look at the news, there's no rhyme or reason. They seem to be senseless acts of violence, and that creates a lot of fear. Obviously, it's senseless. I mean, this guy, this monster that they arrested, okay, he said that he's got a sex addiction problem. I'm assuming it's the prostitutes, and he did this because of his urges. He's blaming them for his problems, right? He didn't target them because they were Asian, based on what we've seen or heard so far. He targeted them because he had a problem with prostitutes. It's almost like a serial killer targeting prostitutes, in a way. Around 200 attended a vigil in New York on Wednesday night in the Jackson Heights area of Queens. Organizer Shakar Krishman said, "We are so devastated and pained after what happened, knowing it's a continuation of a long line of hate and violence against the Asian American community." Now, this is true. You know, there is an exploitation going on with these massage parlors, very specifically with the Asian community, where they're put into this sex servitude business in these massage parlors. Still, there's no mention of that. We are here today to send a message that we will not be silenced. An attack on one of us is an attack on all of us. The NYPD is said to have stepped up patrols in areas that might be targeted. Well, it doesn't surprise me that the police officers want to be around the massage parlors. They love to do stings on them, especially undercover. That happened here. In Oklahoma, a Stop Asian Hate March is planned for March 26th. The Arizona Asian Chamber of Commerce CEO Vincente Reed is planning a vigil next week in the Phoenix suburb of Mesa, Arizona, which has a high concentration of Asian American-owned shops and restaurants. He thinks the Slaynes have galvanized the local community to go beyond vigils. I think there is this whole outlet of a younger generation who's passionate and has the energy. They just need someone to step up and lead them, Reed said. For the past several weeks, Asian Americans have questioned how to deal with a recent wave of assaults, many on the elderly, that coincided with the pandemic. Numerous Asian American organizations say Trump's rhetoric has emboldened people to express anti-Asian or anti-immigrant views. Nearly 3,800 incidents have been reported to Stop AAPI Hate, a California-based reporting center for Asian American Pacific Islanders, and its partner group since March 2020. Nationally, women reported hate crimes 2.3 times more than men. Still, no mention of what goes on in these massage parlors. You know, I'll tell you, this was, well, let me finish the story before I tell you something. I think the reason why people are feeling so hopeless, and if you're on hold, stand by, I'll get to the phone shortly. I think the reason why people are feeling so hopeless is because Asian Americans have been ringing the bell on this issue for so long. We've been raising the red flag, says Aisha Mahmood, executive director of the Atlanta-based Asian American Advocacy Fund, which does political and advocacy work across Georgia. Many were also outraged that the suspect, 21-year-old Long, was not immediately charged with hate crimes. Well, before they charge someone, they need to investigate and make sure they charge him properly. A lot of times, what happens in a high-profile case is local law enforcement feel pressured to bring on charges that the public are wanting. They do it to satisfy the public, and then they charge them wrong. And sometimes it leads to people walking free, like George Zimmerman, unfortunately. 4 of the 8 victims have been named. They go through the names. They were not all Asian, by the way, that were killed. Authorities said Long told police the attack was not racially motivated. He claimed that he targeted the spas because of a sex addiction. Law enforcement needs some training and understanding what a hate crime is. This man identified targets owned by Asians, said Margaret Wang, president and CEO of the Southern Poverty Law Center, which tracks hate groups. The gunman was very clearly going after a targeted group of people. Being Asian American herself, she said the shootings felt personal. She is worried that not classifying the attack as a hate crime will absolutely discourage others from coming forward and seeking help. She also cringed at the comments of a sheriff's captain who said the gunman, it was really a bad day for him. That's a little out of context. Maybe we'll get into that later, or maybe not, I don't know. The remark appeared to be trying to explain and justify the suspect's actions. Hopefully it was a misstatement, Wong said. It's an out-of-context statement. Let's see here. The sheriff's comments sparked a fierce backlash online with accusations that it was an example of white privilege in action. The fact that he sees Asian women as temptations for his sex addiction is racial motivation. Not seeing this as racist is racist. Hashtag stop Asian hate. Another tweet said, retweet if you've had a bad day during the pandemic or ever in life and didn't mass murder 8 people. Yeah, I understand that. It later emerged that the sheriffs shared an image of a racist t-shirt on Facebook last year. The picture shows the tops with Corona beer labels that read COVID-19 imported virus from China. Baker wrote, love my shirt, get yours while they last. The investigation that needs to go on here, there's 2 investigations that need to go on, obviously into the murderer, okay? The other investigation needs to go on into these particular massage parlors. Were these houses of prostitution? Are these houses of prostitution that he frequented, that he visited? Why did he target these of all places? There are many, many problems in our society. One of the biggest problems, not one of these liberal do-gooders mentioned. It's what I've been mentioning this whole half hour. The sex slavery in these massage parlors. These are not free people, oftentimes. I don't know about these particular massage parlors, but he says he targeted them over prostitution. And this was one of the top things in President Trump's administration, was to stop sex trafficking. Stop sex trafficking. And that's what a lot of this is about, and no one wants to talk about it. For a lot of reasons, but mainly because they want to use this to stir up rhetoric against President Trump. All right, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We'll take our break here at the bottom of the hour, come back with some calls, and there are a lot of other issues to talk about as well. But I think this is an important one, because the real story here may never be told, because the media do not want to tell it. All right. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's the number. Toll-free call. 1-888-465-2631. Don't go anywhere.
Brian Craig here. You've heard us talk about the great low prices Friendly Tire
Steve Kane
has
Show.
on new tires and used tires. They also do tire
Hold on.
repairs.
Steve Kane Show. Hold on.
Talk about their experience at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Hey Brian, my name is Mike. Just wanted to call and say thank you. I had a problem with my car. I had a flat tire. It was going down really quick. I'm in Coral Springs. I had to go somewhere close by. They couldn't really fix it. So I remember you guys are talking about Friendly Mike at Friendly Tires. So I said, listen, Mike, I need a couple of tires. I told him my size. He goes, I got them. I go, I'll see you tomorrow. They were really cheap. I go over there, and Mike said, which tires do you want to replace? They look relatively new. I said, they are. I just got a big hole in that one. And they said they couldn't be fixed. He goes, pull your vehicle in. I pulled the vehicle in. He took the tire off. He pulled out the plug that the guy in Coral Springs put in there, and he heat shielded it. He kind of patched it or whatever they call it. I don't know what they call it. And he goes, you don't need any tires. He goes, I fixed that one. Give me $20. But the guy in Coral Springs wanted $500 for 2 tires. I just wanted to say
Give Mike at Friendly Tire a call right now. We'll give you a quote right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Don't waste time going anywhere else. You will never find prices as low as Friendly Tire in Margate.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about the MyPillow weighted blanket. Steve got me one for Christmas. I just love it. It wraps me in comfort and warmth. I feel like I'm getting a hug. I'm sleeping in a hug. It stops me from tossing and turning. I feel less anxious at night, and I get a full night's sleep, which I haven't had in years. I go to sleep in it, and then I put my meditation on at night, and I am out in no time. And I sleep the whole night through. I'm not tossing and turning. It's really amazing. So I want you to go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener specials. You're going to save 30% when you use the promo KANE. That's Kane. Sweet dreams with the MyPillow weighted blanket. You're going to love it.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, guys, welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. All right, let's go to our phones. Mike in Boca. Hey, Mike, what's up?
How are you? You were right yesterday about this Asian massage parlor story. They're just taking it and running with it. The fact of the matter is that apparently this guy, like any other criminal, has some kind of a screw loose in his head, and not on these women. Now, I'm pretty sure, I have suspicion that he's probably frequent with these places. He's been to these places. I mean, he's 21 years old. Maybe when he was 19 or 18, he looked them up on either. Who knows? But
well, there's a lot. What they want in the media is they want him immediately charged with hate crimes against Asians, and just move along. Nothing to see here. But he said he did this over a sex problem he has, and that's a question. Did he visit these places? For the purposes of prostitution?
This way down in Florida, so
That's right.
they have to check. He may have been visiting Florida before, so yeah, they're running with it. And honestly, I remember last summer when all these riots were happening and the virus was out at big time. And I saw on the news and on YouTube, there were I saw several hate crimes against Asians, and they were videotaped.
Mm-hmm.
And there were minorities on minority. It was minority on minority crime.
Yeah.
It was very brutal. Some of these videos. I mean, they're still on YouTube.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you something. The exploitation of women and immigrants in this country is a big problem. Okay, and this is one of those opportunities to discuss it. When there was that big Asian massage parlor prostitution ring busted with the owner of the Patriots. Remember that I guess it was a year or two ago, and that was a big story. And the cops were running a sting there for weeks, if not months, and no one wants to no one wants to talk about these issues. But a lot of what President Trump did with his border security was to stop sex trafficking and exploitation of women and children in these types of incidents. But the media, they're all about Trump hate. Anything they can do to hate on Trump, they're going to jump on it. And this is one of those opportunities.
Fighting these people. I mean, okay, you have a right to march, but what are they marching about? I mean, I don't see a hate crime yet.
Well, if he targeted women, if he targeted these places, if he was targeting prostitutes, it would be a hate crime against prostitutes. Perhaps it's a crime. I mean, there's no doubt about it. They're marching with no real direction of what happened here. You know, and it's so interesting how they've been blaming Trump now for a day for this, and it's not even close to why this happened.
There was somebody that blamed Trump. I don't know who it was. It was a news outlet that mentioned his name in passing. I'm like, it's still on Trump. I mean, it's terrible because they're going to lose sight of the fact that these women are they have been, and they're being.
Yeah. All right, Mike and Boca, appreciate the call. Let me bring up a couple other stories before I go back to the phones. There's a great article in the Federalist today. This is an amazing thing. Listen to this. Upper-class whites have alienated African Americans and Hispanics from the Democratic coalition. That's why Democrats have gone berserk. They're expecting to lose in 2022 and 2024. In the middle of their legislative orgy of socialist giveaways and identity politics, Democrats might want to contemplate that their political priorities do not command the support of a majority of American voters. Moreover, the warnings on this front do not come from the far right. They come from the leftist. Yeah. New York Times columnist Tom Edsall cited polling data from Public Opinion Strategies that show that Democratic support among self-described conservative Hispanics shifted by a whopping 50 points over 8 years. Democrats won these voters by a 10-point margin in 2012, but lost them by 40 percentage points last year. Conservative African Americans, likewise, showed migration away from Democrats. While the African American vote moved away from the Democrats on a smaller scale, the party's dependence on winning the vast majority of Hispanic and African American votes to achieve electoral successes make any migration away from Democrats by minority population a cause for alarm. You know, and here's the thing, okay? The Democrat Party is a very loose coalition of special interest groups, liberal special interest groups, right? Liberal whites, liberal blacks, liberal Hispanics, liberal gays. You can go through a list, even some liberal Christians. And it's a very loose coalition. And what they're dealing with in a loss, the Democrats, of blacks and Hispanic support is not just because of the recent wokeness. A lot of it's because of Donald Trump. But when you go to the black community and the Hispanic community, you are going to very active Christian people. You know, I haven't been to Mass in at least a year because of the pandemic. And I don't know when I'll go back to Mass again. And I'm really concerned. I don't know if I can take Holy Communion ever again at church. I don't know. I'm hoping the church comes up with some way to take communion, because nobody, you know, you don't want to take anything from someone's hand. I stopped drinking the wine years ago, but because that got me sick a few times with colds and flus. But the Hispanic community is a Catholic community, and there's a couple of different Catholic churches that I go to when I do go to Mass, and a huge number of Hispanics, and a lot of them are recent immigrants. Right? They're very religious. That's why one of these things about people don't understand the Hispanic. You talk about this border crisis, and people talk about undocumented. That is one of the biggest lies that are told by politicians, that people are undocumented coming from the southern border. The Hispanic population that comes across the border from all of the Latin American countries are lifelong practicing Catholics. And most every single one of them, including the children, have their baptismal documents from the church, which have their date of birth and their name, their real name and everything. Because you can't this is a group of people that are very religious, brought up in going to Catholic Mass, sometimes every day, sometimes 3 days a week, sometimes just once, but very active with the local Catholic Church. And Holy Communion is a big deal to them. And without proof that you've been baptized Catholic, you cannot receive Holy Communion and Mass. And I know people that aren't Catholic don't think that's a big deal, but to Catholics it is. Okay? And they may not have driver's licenses to show you. They may not have birth certificates, so to speak, but they have their baptism papers with them so that when they relocate to the United States, they can receive Holy Communion, by the way. So the whole idea that these people at the southern border are undocumented, that's a big lie about that. But the point I was making, though, is in both the Hispanic and the black communities, you're dealing with a very religious, a Christian group of people. Hispanics, very Christian. The black community, it's a church-going community. You know, if you go out to lunch at a restaurant on Sunday, you can tell by the way people are dressed. You know, if you're in a restaurant, you'll see a black family come in, and they're all dressed up, right? Because they just came back from church. And the Democrat Party and their liberal attitudes are completely removed from the values of the African American community in this country because there's abortion, a lot of these things that are going on with trans rights beyond just gay rights and these things. Okay, you know, this is why they're losing blacks and Hispanics. A lot of these extreme liberal ideas. Okay, and another thing about it. I know it's a lot of people don't talk about this, but especially the black community, very church-going group of people, at least likely voters in the black community. And when it comes to social issues, the black community is a Christian conservative bloc of people, and they're leaving the Democrat Party over this stuff. They don't like this wokeness involving gay rights and then the trans rights, and this drives them nuts. You know, and what happens with the Democrats, once they have a group of people voting for them, they take them for granted and they just move on to the next group. Okay, we've got this group of people. They're locked in with us. Let's move on to the next demographic and do whatever we got to do to bring them to the Democrat Party, ignoring them. Okay? So a lot of what we're seeing in the country right now is about trying to bring blacks and Hispanics back to the Democrat Party. This border, you know, we no longer have a southern border in this country. Right now, as we speak, the southern border of the United States does not exist. It's an open border. Jen Psaki said yesterday that those that are 10 years of age and younger will automatically be admitted. Wow. Really? Was that a slip, or did she mean to say that? But the border crisis is an attempt to bring Hispanic. They think that's going to garner sympathy among Hispanic voters, bring them back. You know, I was amazed that when I would go to the Trump rallies, how many Hispanics were there. It was absolutely amazing. And not just Cubans. Here in Florida, you know, I'm not talking about just Cubans. I'm talking about people from countries you wouldn't even imagine. African Americans too. I remember when I went to the Trump rally in Sunrise, not this recent Thanksgiving, but the week of the Thanksgiving before, about a year and a half ago, I could not believe how many black people. I've never seen so many black people at a Republican event ever. It was shocking. It really showed you how successful Trump was with minority voters, bringing them over on the Trump train. So the border crisis is serving several purposes, but one of them is to try to get sympathy from the Latin American community to the Democrat Party. It's not. I think people are pretty appalled at the conditions down there. And a lot of the racial divisions that are being reported in the news is about trying to bring blacks back to the Democrat Party. They're stirring up racial divisions now to try to bring blacks back to the Democrat Party. I don't believe they're going to be successful. You know, another reason is, you know, they're talking about tax hikes again. Oh, only on people that make $400,000 or more a year. Well, that's what they say now. Let's find out what the truth is. But those tax hikes are passed on to others. You know, we have racial equality in America today. And African Americans are middle class and upper middle class in numbers that we've never seen before, even through this last year of the pandemic. And when people start to become financially successful, they start hating paying taxes. People don't mind taxes if they don't make enough money to pay them. You know, I used to be a Democrat, used to be a liberal, and many years ago, several things flipped me, but the main thing that turned me from being a Democrat to a Republican was the first year I did my taxes and I owed money at the end of the year. First year. you know. And I know it's crazy, right? I know, because I thought there was a mistake. I did the taxes over again, because I'd always gotten a return. No, and then I realized, and it was over $3,000. I know, I couldn't believe it. And this was many years ago, and that was the final straw for me. There were other things, but that was the main thing. People don't mind taxes as long as they don't make enough money to pay them. And with the African American community, the Democrats are losing the African American vote in such large numbers because the black community is so financially successful right now. I mean, look, right now there's a bunch of pictures of Miami Beach spring break. It's they call it, some call it Black Spring Break. South Beach, there are different places that different college students go on spring break. South Beach has been a place where college students go who are black go to the last few years. There's a lot of stories about this in the news today in spring break, and you'll notice the Miami Beach look at how many young black people are on spring break from college. They don't have to work during spring break. They've got money to travel. I see this all the time at Disney World. I go to Disney World a lot, and years ago you wouldn't see very many black people at Disney World. Now you'd see a lot of black people at Disney World because they're financially successful and are traveling now. And once people get financially successful, middle class and everything, they don't want to pay more money in taxes to a bunch of freeloaders. The Democrats don't even understand why they are losing the black vote. They don't even understand. Now, the Republican Party doesn't have the majority of the black vote. We're a long way from that. But shaving off just 5-6% of the black vote to the Republican vote shifts the whole balance of power in Congress and causes whole states to shift. And the Democrats, everything I just shared with you, they don't even understand. Because the Democrats, they're like Joe Biden. They don't care for blacks too much. They're, they're racist, many of them. And they don't really associate with black people, so they don't understand why they're losing that vote. But that, I just told you why. All right, let's take our last break of the first hour. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Our number, toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Steve Kane Radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to Champagne Automotive, and I got to say that this man is the most fair mechanic I have dealt with in my
Steve Kane Show.
entire life. We took a car over there that
Hold on. Steve Kane Show, hold on. Steve Kane Show, hold on.
Everybody I'd taken this to before was charging an astronomical amount of money, but when we took it over there, Eddie took a look at it, and I got to say that this man fixed the car. It's running like a charm. Anybody that needs a mechanic, I strongly recommend Eddie, and he is just the best thing that's happened to this family as far as car maintenance goes.
Well, thank you, Smiling Squirrel.
Bottom line, it's fixed, and the price was right.
Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your car that your car doesn't need. And their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are State of Florida certified roofing and general contractors, focusing on residential and commercial roofing.
If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, guys. Subscribe, click the notification bell, and everybody in there, like the video if you don't mind. That helps a lot.
In 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles, clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Hurricane season is right around the corner. This gives us only a short period of time to make sure your roof and home is ready for the 2021 hurricane season. So don't delay and call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Our website is www.laportacontracting.com, where you will find our latest video and live testimonials from a few of our past clients. Our number again is 954-604-4602.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Welcome back, everyone. 8 before 7. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Now, remember that woman over the weekend that was arrested in Texas at the Bank of America for not wearing a mask? Pretty outrageous. We got the body cam footage of it and everything, and I actually made a whole YouTube video about this. If you follow me on my YouTube channel, Brian Craig on YouTube, I made a whole video showing the entire incident with commentary. You should definitely check it out. Brian Craig on YouTube. Well, she's been arrested again. A Texas bank customer recently seen in a viral video getting arrested for refusing to wear a mask has been arrested again. This time, Lynn, Wright, age 65, was arrested Wednesday morning at an Office Depot store in Texas City, Fox 26 of Houston reported. After a previous arrest 6 days earlier at a Bank of America in Galveston, some news reports identified her as Terry White. Wasn't that the name of that hostage, Terry White? Or was that Waite? Can't remember. Back in the 80s. According to police, she was told at Office Depot to either put on a mask or leave the store, according to Fox 26. When she refused to comply, Texas City police officers were called to the scene. One officer recognized her from the video that went viral after a Bank of America incident. The report said the officers discovered she was wanted on 2 outstanding warrants from the previous incident, and she was transported to the Galveston County Jail, according to Fox 26. She's being held on charges of criminal trespass and resisting arrest, search, or transport, the report said. She's a resident of Oregon, and that's all the information we have right now. Okay, now I know a lot of people are going to say, well, you know, she got herself arrested again. Rosa Parks, okay? Remember, everybody knows Rosa Parks, and people don't know the whole story about Rosa Parks. You know, of course, if you're a liberal, you may not know who she is. If you're a millennial, I don't know if they teach about Rosa Parks too much anymore. If they do, they certainly don't tell you everything about her. Rosa Parks was the woman who was arrested because she wouldn't get on the back of the bus during the days of the Democrat segregation of the South on public transportation, which led to the Montgomery bus boycott and launched Martin Luther King into a national and international civil rights leader and icon, and was an important incident. Rosa Parks was obviously an icon and a role model who did a great thing. And I have great respect for Rosa Parks. I want to get that out because I'm going to tell you the rest of the story. She was a secretary with the local NAACP, and I don't mean a secretary like she did clerical work, okay? She was a secretary as in an office holder on the board of the local NAACP. And throughout the South, prior to Rosa Parks was the last of several attempts by the NAACP to bring attention to this issue. There were one of the incidents was here in Florida with a couple of African American college students, I think from FAMU. There were NAACP attempts to have a high-profile arrest of somebody on a bus, refusing to get to the back of the bus. One happened in Tallahassee, Florida, before Rosa Parks, and the bus driver drove the bus to the local police station, and they were arrested at the police station, no publicity. The Rosa Parks incident, which is very important, changed America, changed the world. She's one of the most important Americans who ever lived, Rosa Parks. She did a very good thing. However, she got arrested on purpose, okay? She got arrested on purpose to make a point about civil rights, and she changed the world for doing it. She was an activist. And that's not a bad thing, okay? Now, this woman, Terry White, in Texas, has been arrested twice this week. Texas no longer has a mask mandate. Private businesses have rules, like here in Florida, we don't have a mask mandate, but local businesses require it, so you're required to wear it to go in that business. She's been arrested twice in a week for not wearing a mask, one at the bank and now at the Office Depot. She is, in her mind, and in the minds of many, maybe even me, I'm going to think about this a little bit, okay? but she is a Rosa Parks-like figure. She's an activist. She's an activist for, in her view, freedom. She's advocating for liberty. Liberty not to wear the mask, like John Kerry on the airplane, not to wear the mask. And I've never heard anyone look back on the Rosa Parks incident that was a set-up publicity stunt by the NAACP, which is fine, because there was an injustice going on. There was an injustice going on in this country. Okay, about the segregation on public transportation and in the entire South. Okay, and it doesn't matter that she was an activist, was an officer on the board of the local NAACP and set up the incident and got national publicity. When the other attempts to get publicity failed at other end, there were at least 4 other attempts by the NAACP prior to the Rosa Parks incident that were done just to get publicity, and it fizzled out, didn't get publicity. So the Rosa Parks one, somehow Martin Luther King and others managed to get the national publicity around it. Okay? We don't really have a clear idea how, because people don't want to get into that area of the story. They want to portray it as an organic incident that just happened. It didn't just happen. Okay? She got arrested on purpose, Rosa Parks, and that's okay, because she was doing, she risked arrest to bring attention to something, and she changed everything. And that's what this woman, Terry Wright, is doing. Just like Rosa Parks, she's going around Texas. I guess, did she say she has an RV or something? She's going around Texas in her motorhome or whatever she's got, getting arrested on purpose, fighting for a cause that she believes in. And you know what? She's not hurting anyone. She's not hurting anyone. I'd like some people in the media to actually do some reporting. Find out if she's been tested. Does she have COVID? There's other things. Find out. Go talk to her. Find out what's going on. Talk to her family. Talk to her friends. But see, the media, remember I was telling you, these incidents that didn't get national publicity prior to Rosa Parks of African Americans sitting on the fronts of buses. And the reason they were using women is because if women were confronted by the racist bus drivers, there was less likely to be violence. If a black man was doing that at that point, well, what year was that? Was that 57-ish when the Rosa Parks? If a black man did what Rosa Parks did, it could have gotten violent. There was a reason why they chose women in those incidents. Okay? And the media didn't cover it because they didn't want the narrative out there. The media are not covering this story in an appropriate way because they don't want to get Terry White's story out there. All right, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. If you've been on hold, I apologize. There's a few things I wanted to get off my chest before I turned the show over to you guys, but you are welcome to call in. I'd like to hear some comment on any of the topics I brought up today, but like I say, we'll loosely keep it open phone so long as what you bring up is relevant. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. My name's Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. It's 7 a.m. We'll break and be right back after this.
Covered AM 1470, FM 94.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly.
Someone said I eliminated a link. I didn't eliminate a link.
Great. Low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect.
Hey, Barbados.
The Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Do you think you've come in contact with someone who has coronavirus? Steve Kane's wife Lori did, and she went to any lab test now of Coral Springs to find out if she has coronavirus.
So I came into contact with somebody who tested positive for COVID, and I was scared, and I needed results right away, so I went to any lab test now in Coral Springs. It was great. I didn't want to have to stay in line for 2 hours and have a swab stuck down my nose into my brain. It was very pleasant. I made an appointment. They got me in within the hour. I was out of there within 20 minutes. Thank goodness the test was negative, and I can go back to work tomorrow. They also tested me for the antibodies, and I haven't been exposed. So do what I did. Go over to any lab test now of Coral Springs. They give great rates for Steve Kane listeners, and tell them we sent you.
It's worth 15 minutes of your time to have peace of mind and know that you and your family are safe. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. You can call them at 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsboro. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE 1. That's 1-888.
All right, welcome back, everyone. Yes, 5 minutes after 7. My name is Brian. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Hour number 2 has begun. The rhinos are making a move that no one is realizing to stop Trump in 2024, stop Trump in 2022. And I have mentioned this on my podcast, but I want to bring it up to you guys now because it's starting tomorrow, and I'm really upset about this. It involves Candace Owens. Candace Owens is one of the most important conservatives in America today. Huge importance, okay? She had this incredible Blexit movement organized where last year she planned spending all of last year going to rallies across the country encouraging blacks to leave the Democrat Party and get on the Trump train and become Republicans, the Blexit movement. And because of COVID, it fizzled out. And starting tomorrow, she is starting her new show, which is it's not a television show, it's an online video show through Ben Shapiro's The Daily Wire. I've read descriptions of the show, and it seems to be more of a lifestyle show than anything else. The show is called Candace, and it's only available to subscribers of Ben Shapiro's The Daily Wire. Now, again, I know I've not been a big fan of Ben Shapiro's. I liked his movie a lot. Run, Hide, Fight is a very good movie. Run, Hide, Fight, very good movie. But I don't like him, and he was a never-Trumper. And I don't believe him that he's no longer a never-Trumper. I think, he's a conservative guy, but he's a rhino. He's, not a rhino. He's I misspoke. He's a Republican establishment guy. Okay? And Candace Owens, she recently had a baby. I'm sure she's made a very good deal financially for this new gig that she's got with Ben Shapiro. But I believe the Republican establishment have given her this job to get control of her. If you go back and you watch Candace Owens before the pandemic, when she would go to college campuses and speak, the black students would be surrounding her by hundreds just to get close to her, just to talk to her, just to listen to her. The people that were yelling and protesting Candace Owens on college campuses typically were white students, not black. And they were foaming at the mouth, like those Democrats that were screaming at the first students who were integrated in Little Rock High School, right? And if I were to make a list outside of the Trump family of the 10 most important conservatives in America today, Candace Owens would be in the top 3 or 4 because of her importance of reaching out to young black people and bringing them over to the Republican Party, bringing them over to the MAGA movement. She's very charismatic, right? She's a great speaker. I've watched a lot of her work with PragerU on YouTube. Have you watched any of her interviews? They are pretty darn good. She's very smart. I was suspect of her because she too at one time was a never Trumper. When she was first starting out, which wasn't all that long ago, but it was like 2015-ish, and she was on Periscope then. But she woke up. She woke up. And now we've got this never Trumper, Ben Shapiro, who has hired her away, putting her in a TV show, which I'm told from the descriptions that it's not just about politics, it's more like a lifestyle show than anything else, but it's only available to those who subscribe to the Daily Wire, which I know some of you may subscribe to the Daily Wire, and maybe some more of you will subscribe to the Daily Wire. But people don't like to pay for things like that online. People like things for free online. The expectation is free online. That's what people want. So, we don't know the details, we don't know the particulars of what her deal is. And what I mean by that, I don't mean how much money she's making from Ben Shapiro. I'm sure it is a lot. She's got a new baby, and she's very famous, and she's got to monetize that fame. She's got a family to support. But even though she is a married woman, she's like the Megyn Kelly of her family. She's the famous breadwinner of her family. And if she's not the breadwinner, she should be, and has the potential to be. But what I mean is we don't know the deal. We don't know how much exclusivity Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire have on her. Is Candace Owens still available to travel the country when things open up again all over the country in the next election with her movement, the Blexit movement, that she calls it? Is she still available to go on radio and TV like she's done over the years? And there's no way, if you look at Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens, who has the potential to be the star out of those two? You don't even think about it. Candace Owens, right? You know the name of her show is Candace? They're rebranding her. They're redefining her. They're limiting her. And they're also reducing her reach significantly. Even if the Daily Wire were to meet their subscription goals that they have, it's still a small audience. There's no way they expect many people to subscribe. And Ben Shapiro is never going to let someone be a bigger star than he is at the Daily Wire. Okay? And by the way, I go to the Daily Wire pretty much every day or two, to see what they have. It's a very good conservative news site. I like the Daily Wire. I like that movie the Daily Wire put out, Run, Hide, Fight. Very good movie. Should be put out everywhere. They should try to get a deal on Netflix for that. A very important movie, not just limited to subscribers. But Candace Owens and I know a lot of people may think I'm crazy about this because maybe I'm a conspiracy person when it comes to this. But have the never Trumpers in the Republican establishment, are they taking Candace Owens out of her activism role, limiting her to a very small audience, subscribers to the Daily Wire, reducing her reach and reducing her importance? Because I'm telling you, she's one of the three most important, outside of the Trump family, okay? I'm not including the Trump family. But once you get beyond that, and now that Rush Limbaugh is no longer with us, she is one of the top three most important conservatives in America today. And I think the Republican establishment have given her this deal with Ben Shapiro to reduce, because her plans would be to go around advocating Trump and Trump-backed candidates. Can she do that now? I think the Republican establishment are trying to get control of her. And she's very smart. Look at what she did this week. You know, Candace Owens, she's had this past issue with Cardi B, right? And then they had this really ridiculous thing at the Grammys happen. And now she's got a feud going this week online, Candace Owens, with Cardi B. And everyone's talking about Cardi B and Candace Owens all week long. It's not an accident. Her show debuts tomorrow on the Daily Wire for Daily Wire subscribers only. It's not a coincidence. It's not an accident that Candace Owens is being talked about in national media and has been trending on Twitter for 3 or 4 days the week that her show's debuting at the Daily Wire. She's very smart, Candace Owens. She knew when she sent out that tweet that Cardi B was going to respond to her because they have a history, and she did, and boom. So, and she's garnered all this publicity for her debut on Friday, tomorrow. But I'm telling you, this is the swamp. The swamp. They don't want Candace Owens out there converting people to Trump people. They just don't want it. And there's no way Ben Shapiro is going to let her be some huge star, because he's the star of that operation. Now and again, it may be in the beginning, may let her feel a little bit of that. You know, and what got me talking about this, I was talking about this on my podcast a couple days ago, but on Twitter, I just saw a promo that somebody put up for the Candace Owens show, and it's her in a makeup chair with a whole crew. It looks like she's getting ready. Looks like they're turning her into an Oprah Winfrey type, is what it looked like to me. And I'm not happy about it, because she's too important to be controlled by Ben Shapiro and a bunch of never-Trumper people. But that's what's going on here. That's what's going on. All right, listen. It's 15 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977. My name is Brian Craig. Steve will be joining us a little bit later. We'll take a break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Steve Kane radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to Champagne Automotive, and I got to say that this man is the most fair mechanic I have dealt with in my entire life. We took a car over there that was not being used yet. You know, it belonged to my 90-year-old dad. Everybody I had taken it to before was charging an astronomical amount of money. But when we took it over there, Eddie took a look at it, and I got to say that this man fixed the car. It's running like a charm. Anybody that needs a mechanic, I strongly recommend Eddie, and he is just the best thing that's happened to this family as far as car maintenance goes. It's fixed. Bottom line, it's fixed, and the price was right.
Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your car that your car doesn't need. And their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach with my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. 7. And, you know, Barry says every 3 years at least you got to... I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, you know, most people would just blow you off, right? Yeah. You know, almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so
on. Well, Bridal Spur, thank you very much.
Quite a while with
Send $20 on PayPal. Thank you very much. Bridal Spur Rescue Ranch.
Integrity. These are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all have that you can trust them and you know you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. You know, this thing with Candace Owens is a big deal. You know, I took a lot of heat when Candace Owens got married, I guess, a couple years ago. I did a show on this, and it's online. And I get messages. This show's like 2 years old. I get messages about this show from people that are just finding it still all the time, giving me a hard time. And what I said was that when Candace Owens gets married, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to her. It's going to destroy her as an important conservative Trump activist. And now we're seeing it with Shapiro. And there's a few reasons for this, by the way. Okay? One of the things that makes Candace Owens successful and important is she's charismatic. She's very good looking. And when you go, and I saw her at a college campus, and all these young black men were very interested in what she had to say. Part of that is because she's good looking. And she's available, right? And once a woman gets married, they lose a little bit of that power in that type of circle. So I knew. And what's happened now, what these never-Trumpers in the Ben Shapiro camp have done, is they've taken advantage of something, right? She's got a baby now. She doesn't want to be on the road traveling anyway as things start to open up. So they've offered her a permanent job, a salary, whatever, however they pay her. She gets to stay home with her baby. And by the way, her show is only once a week. It's only going to be on Fridays. This is a terrible thing happening with Candace Owens. And you heard it here first, because there's going to be a lot of celebrating going on in the media right now because her show's debuting tomorrow. I'm going to watch her first show somehow. I don't want to subscribe to the Daily Wire, but if I have to, I'll have to see it so I can talk about it after I've actually seen the show. But what I've seen so far is bad news. You know, I was talking in the last hour about how the Democrats are fighting very hard to get the black vote back away from Trump. You know, Ben Shapiro is helping the Democrats with what he's doing with Candace Owens. Now, there was a story yesterday, you know, 3-year-old boy was killed, his mother seriously injured after being attacked by their neighbor's 2 pit bulls in New Jersey. A 3-year-old boy from New Jersey has died. His mother has been hospitalized with serious injuries after the neighbor's 2 pit bulls got into the family's yard and mauled them. Middlesex County officials say the attack took place around 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday at the family's home. Neighbors say the young boy was playing in his backyard when the 2 dogs living next door somehow got underneath the fence separating the 2 properties and lunged at the boy. Oh my goodness. One witness told the ABC News 7 in New York that he could hear the mother's desperate cries, "Help me, help me," but no one came to call off the dogs. The family had only moved here a month ago. First responders who arrived on the scene found the victims with injuries so severe from the attack of the 2 pit bulls that they had to be airlifted to a hospital. Paramedics performed chest compressions on the child as he was being taken on a gurney to the medevac helicopter. The toddler died a few hours later. The mother remains hospitalized with severe injuries. Her condition is not known at this time. Oh, man. And these are immigrants from Pakistan, by the way. Both dogs were reportedly shot by police officers at the scene of the attack. It's unclear whether their owner would face criminal charges. A neighbor familiar with the dog said They never showed any signs of aggression prior to Tuesday. You know, pit bulls are the worst. You know, since I was a little kid, I would hear stories and see things about pit bulls. I had a pit bull once attack one of the family dogs. My grandparents, I was visiting my grandparents for the summer here in Florida before I lived in Florida, and they had a Cocker Spaniel. And his name was Skipper. And pit bull, and it was in our yard. A pit bull somehow got in the yard, attacked our Cocker Spaniel, tried to murder it. And when the pit bulls, I don't know if it's always training or if it's just in their DNA, they go for the kill and they know how to do it. And I remember I was in a panic. I was outside with the dog. Luckily, attacked the dog and not me. The dog did survive, but the pit bull grabbed our Cocker Spaniel by the neck, and it was vicious. And I called for my dad, and my dad came and he grabbed a 2x4 and hit the pit bull with the 2x4, and it didn't let go. It was still trying to kill the dog. Had to hit the pit bull many times with this 2x4, and finally it ran off. And you hear stories like this. I see people all the time, even in my neighborhood, I hate it, walking with pit bulls. Those dogs should all be spayed and neutered, and they should not reproduce. They are the deadliest of deadly dogs. The only time you hear about them is when they attack someone and either kill them or scar them for life. And you know, a problem with the pit bulls is a lot of people have gotten it in their mind that these are just the best of the best animals, that everybody should, they're just lovable. You know, there's no such thing as a mean dog. It's how they're raised. I don't think so. Pit bulls, they don't all attack. Thankfully, they don't all attack and kill people and maim people and scar people for life. But they can turn to violence like that, and they have a natural instinct when they bite to kill. It's worse than a regular dog bite. Okay, a regular dog will bite you. They'll move on. You know, and most dog bites with other types of dogs are in the hand, not a kill bite. And pit bulls, they always go for the kill. And I'm sorry, you know, some people say, it's how that people treat them, it's how they raise them. Maybe not, but I'll tell you this: these dogs are mean by nature, and the reason go look at the local humane societies in your neighborhood. I check out the dogs at the local humane society a lot. So many of them are pit bull mixes because people get these dogs and they're too mean, so they give them up to the animal shelters. But I see a lot of people who go around with pit bulls that think it's some kind of statement on their manhood. A lot of guys like to walk around with these dogs and have these dogs because I guess they feel it's a man's dog. They are killer dogs. They should not exist. Everyone should be spayed and neutered so they cannot reproduce. And this story is just a god-awful, terrible story. This poor mother that survived. My goodness. Can you imagine when she recovers what life is going to be like for her? And, you know, I was talking last week when Biden's dog bit someone, and one press report said it's rumored that it was a Secret Service person that Biden's dog bit. And Biden sent the dog away from the White House back to his home in Connecticut, got rid of Major Biden, remember the name of the dog? And, you know, when a dog bites someone, they got to be euthanized. They just got to be euthanized, you know, when they attack. Now, I'm not talking about necessarily if somebody does something really stupid, like try to take the food away from a dog while they're eating. I wouldn't do that. I mean, I wouldn't do that with any dog I've ever had. And something like that could happen. But anytime a dog bites someone, that should be it for that dog. It's too dangerous. They're unpredictable, and once they get away with that, they're going to do it again. You know, and this story, I hate these stories. It's been a while since I've seen a pit bull story in the news. I guess because Trump's not in the news, they're putting pit bull stories back in there. But no, they're bad news. All right, listen. I know I haven't taken a lot of calls today. I apologize, and I know some of you have been on hold while I've been yakking away. But sometimes there's stories I want to talk about and get to. Oh, boy, I know it's a sad story. When you're a parent, you see things in a different light. Our number is toll-free 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Oh. Are you calling in to apologize to the MAGA movement for accusing the Asian massage shooter of being a Trump supporter, doing this for Trump, as opposed to what it is, that he's got a problem with prostitutes, according to him in his confession?
Let me educate you on something. Because I have a brother who's 20 years younger than me, I've had the luxury of golfing with some retired FBI agents.
Oh, yeah, I'm impressed.
And when I'm down in Florida,
oh my gosh,
local Rio Golf Club.
Yeah, just get to the point, Al. Tell me why you called. Get to the point real quick. I don't have time for the fantasy life.
I'm answering your question. They haven't determined if it is a hate crime yet, but there's some of them who are of the opinion that once they research his social media presence on the internet, they will find out that it is a hate crime.
Well, it's a hate crime against who? He was targeting prostitutes, he says. So it's a hate crime against prostitutes.
They're all Asian prostitutes, so you don't see a connection there?
It seems to be, according to him, it seems to be a connection that he frequented prostitutes in these massage parlors. I don't know if he went to these particular ones, but he said he had urges, and he did this because he couldn't control his urges, the sex urges that he was having. So it seems to be a problem about these brothels that are around the country and these massage parlors that he had a problem with, not Asian people, prostitutes.
Being somebody who's never visited a brothel or a massage parlor before, I can tell you right now that if the man has a sexual addiction, doesn't mean he can't possibly be a racist as well. Brian, the MAGA propaganda works best when those who are being manipulated are confident.
Where's the MAGA connection to these god awful shootings in Georgia? Where's the MAGA connection?
Well, he has some right-wing posts on...
Right-wing posts. Listen, every time somebody does something, it's 50-50 whether they're a Democrat or a Republican, right? If someone runs a red light, okay, 50-50, they're a Republican or a Democrat, because we have a division in this country down politics. That's meaningless.
See, the thing is, Brian, you're not realizing you've been drinking the MAGA Kool-Aid so long, you don't realize you're a member of a cult.
In fact, what I drink is I drink a liberal drink, Starbucks coffee. Okay, so I'm drinking a liberal drink. All right, take care. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing all right. What's your name?
My name is Nino, calling from Boca Raton.
Hey, what's up?
I was calling about the pit bull situation. I'm actually a dog trainer. And I wanted to just chime in a little bit and say, first of all, pit bulls in general are not bad dogs. The idea of the aggression you were describing earlier, that's instinct that any dog is to kill. No dog has the intention of biting and letting go. They all have the intention of biting and holding on. Some dogs will bite and let go because it's a warning. They're giving you an opportunity for you to back off, leave their food alone, whatever it is. And a lot of that is a lack of training and a lack of respect in the dog. The dog doesn't respect the owners. They don't respect people that have been socialized properly. The idea of pit bulls running rampant in at the Humane Society, at the shelters, that has a lot to do with the fact that people just bred the hell out of the dogs for so many years. They mix them with everything. They let them run loose. It's not the breed's fault. It's actually people's fault.
Well, when I hear stories of people being killed by dogs, it's typically not golden retrievers or Labradors or poodles or labradoodles or whatever people have today. It's pit bull.
You're 100% right. There is more of an aggression tenure with this dog. Right, he's a lot stronger, more powerful than most of these other breeds of dogs you're describing. Keep in mind, the smallest breeds actually have caused the most bites. If you look it up, most bites that people end up in the hospital.
Yeah, those are nips, but we're talking about severe injury and death I don't hear Labradoodles doing that in the news ever.
No, you will hear the pit bulls do it. You will hear the Dobermans do it, and so on. But again, that has to do with bad human behavior that causes the dog's behavior. People don't train the dogs properly. They don't socialize them. If a dog like that is socialized properly, and in my life, I've had about 7 pit bulls, and I've raised them around my kids and the whole 9 yards.
Oh, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind.
Oh, you might say so. That's fine. Keep in mind, though, that saying that a dog is genetically purely evil is no different than saying that a breed of human or a race of human is genetically evil. It doesn't exist that way. We're raised product of our environment, so are dogs.
The pit bulls are very aggressive. They're strong. They're out of control. And the type of people that I generally see them with like them for that fact.
Shouldn't have the dog. That's part of the problem.
Well, they have them.
You should not have a pit. No, the average person should not have a pit bull. But that's the same thing with Belgian Malinois. A Belgian Malinois is a gorgeous dog, but it shouldn't be in someone's home.
Yeah, but how many Belgian Malirons? I've never even heard of that before. It sounds like a drink. How many Belgian Malirons are there compared to pit bulls? The pit bulls are like iguanas in Florida.
Here's the thing. Belgian Malinois is actually the new police dog.
Oh.
The new police dog. They've taken over the place of the German Shepherd. Smaller, more agile, faster, and they have...
Well, like I was telling this story when I was a kid, okay, and the pit bull got in my grandparents' yard, attacked our Cocker Spaniel. I don't see other breeds attacking dogs at random, grab the dog right for the neck to kill it. I mean, that's not a move that you see with other dogs.
Well, actually, it is a move you'll see with other dogs. If you look carefully and study dogs, it is a move that all dogs perform.
Well, but hold on. But as a dog trainer, you're a dog trainer, right? You're a master dog trainer. People come to you typically that have problems, right? Yeah, so people that don't have problems, most people that have dogs without problems don't go to a dog trainer. Most people that go to a dog trainer have a problem dog. So you're an expert in all of that, but the sample of dogs you encounter are more problematic because that's why people are hiring you.
Actually, the most common dogs I get trained to correct behavior on tend to be smaller dogs that nip at children and bite children constantly.
Well, if I had a dog that was nipping at children, they'd be gone. A sad thing, we had to euthanize a dog because it bit a child in the neighborhood about 20 years ago.
Have you noticed the latest trend now is people will carry dogs inside of purses and inside of little strollers like they're babies?
Yeah, they order the fake documents off of Amazon, and they're taking their dogs everywhere. Yeah.
And all of that really is human behavior that leads to aggressive dogs. Okay, dogs should not be in a stroller. They have 4 legs. They're more than happy and eager to walk and be running. They need the extra.
Yeah, but look at what happened. These pit bulls killed a 3-year-old. Maimed the mother trying to rescue it. They're like alligators. You know, listen, we've got alligators here in Florida, and I've encountered alligators all my life, and never been in danger of one. I see they're in the lakes by all of our houses, but when they do something, you're dead. And it's the same thing with pit bulls. Most of them may be okay, like the gators, but when they attack, you're dead or you're maimed beyond repair.
If they get a hold of you, it's over.
This would be a better world if pit bulls were not in it. They should all be gone.
I think the owner should be qualified. No different than having a gun license. We should have licenses to be able to have...
No, because you can control your weapon. As an individual, you can control your weapon. The dog is unpredictable unless they've had really advanced training that most people don't do because it's too expensive.
The pit bull there should be certain guidelines in order for you to have...
Like I had an uncle who's a retired police officer, and he was in the canine unit for most of his career, and he had canines, and these weren't drug-sniffing dogs that he had at home. They were his partner. These were trained to attack criminals on command. And we would go over to his house and we'd play with these dogs like we were, little family pets because they were well trained to only attack when, And he told me a couple times they saved him in a tough spot when he was struggling with a suspect and he couldn't reach his weapon. The dog saved him. But those are highly trained dogs. Most people cannot afford the kind of training that someone like you would give to a pit bull to make them safe. and 99% of them are not safe because they've not been trained by a master dog trainer like you. Hey, listen, I got to run for a break, so I give you the last word to save the pit bulls.
That you just summed it all up for me already. People who own an aggressive breed like that or a large breed like that.
Ah, so you admit they're aggressive. They're aggressive. I've got a little dog that is not aggressive. Okay, but and the breed's not aggressive. You're telling me that the pit bulls are a breed that is aggressive by nature. That means they're not domesticated. They're undomesticated.
They should be trained.
Well, yeah. I mean, Don Johnson had an alligator on his sailboat in Miami Vice. Yeah, I get in certain situations, alligators can be safe too, but pit bulls are not domesticated dogs.
Alligators are cold-blooded animals. This is a warm.
So are pit bulls. All right. Hey, listen, I got to run for the break, but take care. Master Dog Trainer on the line. All right, we'll be right back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Don't go anywhere.
This is Larry Kane, and I want to tell you about the My Pillow weighted blanket. Steve got me one for Christmas. I just love it.
Hold on.
It wraps me
Steve Kane Show.
Comfort and warmth. I feel like I'm
Hey, Barry.
getting a hug. I'm sleeping in a hug. It stops me from tossing and turning. I feel less anxious at night, and I get a full night's sleep, which I haven't had in years. I go to sleep in it, and then I put my meditation on at night, and I am out in no time. And I sleep the whole night through. I'm not tossing and turning. It's really amazing. So I want you to go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener specials. You're going to save 30% when you use the promo KANE. That's Kane. Sweet dreams with the My Pillow weighted blanket. You're going to love it.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show. I'm Brian Craig, and on the line we have attorney Barry Siegel, our elder law attorney, estate planning attorney, and Medicaid planning attorney. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing well. What do you have for us today?
Well, people have various goals when it comes to getting their estate planning done, and estate planning is not just about what happens to your assets at your passing. One of the major goals that people have when it comes to doing their estate planning is making sure that they plan to take care of themselves during any potential disability. And there are many ways that estate planning addresses that. First of all, you name fiduciaries who could step up and take care of you if you should have a disability, like a mental incapacity, like Alzheimer's or dementia. So, for example, you name successor trustees in your trust. You name powers of attorney. And these fiduciaries can step up and make decisions for you and handle your assets, open and close bank accounts, buy and sell real estate, make legal decisions, make business decisions for you. You also can name people to make your healthcare decisions. It's called a healthcare surrogate. So if you don't have the capacity, they can make your healthcare decisions for you, including pulling the plug. And of course, planning for your disability also involves making sure you don't run out of money before you run out of life. And that has to do with making sure you can qualify for government benefits such as Medicaid if you don't have sufficient funds to pay for your long-term care yourself, or if you don't have long-term care insurance. So really, we get a lot of times, some people say, either I don't have children or I don't care, let them, they do well on their own or whatever, I don't care what happens. But you know what? What if you become disabled? It's something that you got to make sure that you plan ahead. And again, you don't want to run out of money before you run out of life.
That's right.
The right people are making decisions for you when that time.
In fact, if you don't have long-term care insurance and you don't call Barry and he doesn't set you up with the Medicaid planning, a lot of people can go flat broke in just a couple of months with the cost of health care. It is very expensive. I mean, what is the average cost for nursing home or at-home care for people that are in need, Barry? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, well, at-home care, it really depends on the number of hours. It can be $20 to $25 an hour, which can get into the $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month.
Oh my goodness!
24-hour care, and a nursing home in Florida, I'd say on the very, very low end, you may be looking at 7,000-8,000, and we see it go over 10 and even 50.
Wow. I mean, think about it. Just on the low end, 7,000 to 8,000. How many months could you afford nursing home care? And you know what a lot of people unfortunately do is they burn through every asset they have, including their home. One spouse passes, and they've burned through everything, and the surviving spouse is left with no savings, no home, nothing. It doesn't have to be that way. Call attorney Barry Siegel. Schedule a free consultation. His number 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. Online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Barry Siegel, have a great day, and we'll finish out the week tomorrow. All right, take care, Attorney Barry Siegel. All right, back to the phones. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Yes, I hear you. Oh, boy. See, this is why I've been slow on the phones today, because I've been getting a lot of this today. It's called frustrated liberals on the phones. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. Let me give out the number again. I'm going to have to maybe suspend. I think I might have to suspend the screenless calls just every once in a while. You know, liberals take advantage of that privilege. Our number, toll free, 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. You know, there's this issue at the southern border. You've seen it in the news. It's god awful. It's a national embarrassment. At this point in time, right now as I'm speaking to you, the United States has no southern border. And, you know, Democrats are always against the southern border existing for a variety of reasons, okay, And there are many. There's not just one reason. There's many reasons why the left don't want to have a southern border. But the conditions down there are beyond inhumane. And this administration, regardless of what they tell you, are encouraging them. Jen Psaki said yesterday that if you're 10 years of age or younger, you're not going to be returned. Think about that. You're not going to be returned. So what does that mean? Everyone's going to come up with their 10-year-old. And if there was somebody who's their mom or dad or says their grandma or grandpa or whoever or aunt and uncle, are they going to keep the 10-year-old kid in Texas or Southern California and send the adult? No. What is happening there is happening at the direction of the White House right now. This is not an accident. And only conservative media are talking about this, but this is getting ready to totally collapse at the southern border. Immigration officials were saying yesterday to the media, they can't handle it any longer. It's completely overwhelmed. They're just letting people in now. They're even giving up because there's too many people there for them to even deal with. Good morning, you're on the radio. Yes. Once. Twice. All right, good morning, you're on the air. I'm doing all right. What's your name?
I just want to address the southern border. First of all, I think it's absolutely despicable what this administration has done, especially now since they're saying it's the agents at the southern border causing this.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if you noticed the same thing that I noticed. So John Kerry, an elitist, doesn't have to wear a mask, right? Illegal immigrants being let into our country with COVID, no problem. Let them loose. American citizens, it's the totalitarian hand. So there's your class system. For thee, but not for me. If you're illegal, you can come in here and do whatever you want. Commit crimes, do acts of terrorism, carry COVID, no big deal. American citizens, squash. There you go.
Well, you know, the thing with John, I was talking about this thing with John Kerry at 6 when the show started, and I know a lot of people think it's trivial that he was on the plane without the mask. If you or I did that, we would be banned from flying on American Airlines in the future, okay? And we would be fined, you could be fined thousands of dollars. In fact, they'll toss you off a flight. They'll land a flight when there's not a scheduled landing to throw people off a flight for not wearing a mask. They'll fine you and they'll put you on the no-fly list. okay, for the airline. John Kerry was trying to be a man of the people by flying on a commercial aircraft, which you know he hates doing because he got all that heat recently for using his private jet, although it was first class. And him not wearing the mask on the flight is not a small thing. When the liberal elitist, right, when the totalitarian socialist communists are in power, they pass all of these rules and regulations against all of us, but they never abide by them. Even if you went to Cuba at the height of Castro's reign, right, all the party elite have houses on the beach, in Cuba during the height of Castro's power, because the rules don't apply to the leadership in these societies where you have this out of control government control over your lives.
Egregious thing, I think, right across the board is the denial. And even by Mr. Unity himself, he is not going to the border. Why is he not going to the border?
Because he doesn't want the press there with him showing it.
But what do they call that? A gag order on patrol.
Yeah.
To tell you everything.
Yeah. That's right. And this thing with John Kerry, by the way, we were talking earlier, that woman that was arrested in Texas in the bank, she was arrested, 65-year-old, for not wearing a mask. And she got arrested again yesterday at an Office Depot for not wearing a mask. She's been arrested twice this week for doing the same thing John Kerry did on that airplane yesterday. Think about that.
I haven't worn a mask. Since this thing started. And when people come at me about it, my thing is, this is how I know. When Fauci started to flip-flop.
Well, listen, I know people get pissed off at me about this, but I do wear it in certain situations. When I'm in a private business that requires it, I wear it. That's if I'm in the elevator here, I wear it. That's it's an individual's choice. But see, John Kerry broke federal mandates. He broke an executive order by Biden. And he broke the regulations of the FAA, okay? And there have been people who have faced, somebody just 2 days ago on a JetBlue flight wasn't wearing a mask, and they're facing a $15,000 fine. And you got John Kerry who's flying around and the rules don't apply. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Oh, see, here we go. See, you give liberals one privilege, going screenless on the air, and that's what happens. All right, listen, it's time for a break anyway. I'm Brian. It is coming up on 10 minutes before 8. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll take a break and be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, inventor of My Pillow, here to tell you about my Giza Dream bed sheets. I made sure that they would be everything you'd ever want in a sheet set. I started with the world's finest cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region where the Sahara Desert, the Nile River, and the Mediterranean Sea all meet. The long staple cotton makes my Giza Dream sheets ultra soft and durable. They come with extra wide pillowcases to fit over any pillow and extra deep pockets to fit over any mattress. Not only that, they come with my 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. And now you can get the best sheets ever for the best price ever. When you buy one of my Giza Dream bed sheet sets, you'll get another one absolutely free. I personally guarantee that they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
Use the promo code KANE at checkout, and when you buy a set of Giza Dream Sheets, get a second set free. But you've got to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com, or call 1-800-716-4879.
Hi, my name is Tom Laporta, the owner of Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Restoration. We have been in the roofing and construction industry since 1982. We are State of Florida certified roofing and general
Steve Kane Show.
Focusing on residential and commercial roofing.
Not yet. Hold on.
And building restoration.
Steve Kane Show.
Any water stains on your ceiling, or if your
Hold on.
roof is older than 15 years, you will want to call us to come out and evaluate your roof. Our services run from minor repairs to complete new roof systems. We install every kind of roof, from regular asphalt shingles clay or concrete tiles, standing metal seam, wood shakes, and slate tile systems. Hurricane season is right around the corner. This gives us only a short period of time to make sure your roof and home is ready for the 2021 hurricane season. So don't delay and call us at 954-604-4602 for a free home inspection and estimate. Our website is www.laportacontracting.com, where you will find our latest video and live testimonials from a few of our past clients. Our number again is 954-604-4602.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hey, Brian. How you doing? My name is Sammy from calling.
Sammy in Oklahoma City. What's up?
Well, yeah, I wanted to talk about the thing about the pit bulls, and I have to agree with you 100% about dogs being euthanized and neutered. I actually had a issue myself one time with a pit bull close encounter with my niece, and it was scary, and we're coming home late, and these dogs are unpredictable. I mean, they could be nice, and like you said, the way you train these dogs, it's like you said, those dogs are crazy, and I just don't like them.
Well, they're deadly. They're dangerous. They're now if you got a master dog trainer like the guy that called me earlier, and you pay him $2,000 to $5,000, maybe he could make your pit bull listen to you and not eat your kids. Maybe, but nobody does that.
Yeah, definitely. It's like you said, it's like you said, like you train the dogs a certain way, but these dogs are, I can't stand them, and like I said, you have kids, and
Well, the story that I was just sharing from New Jersey, I mean, they killed the pit bulls killed a young child. I mean, it just can't be allowed. That's why I brought it up today. It's just not some random thing we're talking about. A 3-year-old child was murdered by the pit bulls, and the mother, trying to save her child, was not killed but severely injured.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We had something a long time ago where somebody was just out of nowhere was just walking, and then all of a sudden dogs, it's like 3 of them just came out and just attacked the person, and I felt bad for the person because the guy just retired, and then all of a sudden a whole bunch of dogs just attacked the guy. I mean, out of nowhere. It's scary, man.
Mm-hmm. It is. Yeah.
Animals, man. Like I said. All right. Well, hey, Brian. If I ask you a question, one last thing.
Here we go.
Y'all have a cruise?
We do a yearly Steve Kane Radio listener cruise, and of course last year's was supposed to be in November and didn't happen because of COVID, But our next one is in January, and we got 4 stops. We leave out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We're going to Aruba, Bonaire, the Cayman Islands, and then we got another stop too. I forgot, and it's a 9-day cruise. Leaves on a Friday, and returns the following Sunday. Yeah, it's going to be a great time. You want to come? Yeah, go to our website. The information's there. All right, take care. By the way, those of you that like to join us on the cruise, you're all invited, except Liberal Al. Liberal Al is not invited to be a part of our group's a private group. And I have told Ian, our travel agent, that he is not welcome to be a part of our group. But call Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot for information on our cruise. It's going to be in January, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hi, Brian. It's Vanessa.
Hey, Vanessa.
Hey. Golly, I'm such a dog lover, but you know what? We're not all Caesar Milan or the dog whisperer.
Yeah.
Those dogs need a strong pack leader, and even at that, if you're not in that dog's sight, it could do what it did to the child over there and the mother. Horrible.
The only time I've had what I would consider to be a positive experience with pit bulls, when I was younger, when I was a kid, with a guy that was he was a guy who would be hired to track down and capture wild boar, the wild pigs, that have tusks and everything. And those wild boar. I've been wild boar hunting many, many times. Very exciting. It's like being on safari in Africa. And what would happen is they kill cattle, and ranchers would hire this guy, because these ranches are huge here in Florida. They would hire this guy to track down the wild boar because they kill cattle, and he would capture them alive. And he would have a pack of dogs that would go hunting with us, and they were typically pit bulls, and they would attack these wild boars like you wouldn't believe. Oh my goodness! But the pit bulls are killers.
I were a great pack leader of a dog that could be that vicious, I still wouldn't trust it with other people without my eyes on it.
Yeah, they should not exist. They should all be spayed and neutered until the breed dies off. And most of them that I see walking around the neighborhood by people, most of them, the owners kind of like the idea of having a deadly dog.
I just, wow, and like you said, the shelters are full of them, and they are...
Yeah.
You go in every shelter, and it's full of pit bulls. Full men.
That's right, and this poor little boy who was murdered by two of them. My goodness. And you know what? The owner of the dog is liable, as far as I'm concerned, not just civilly, but criminally. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad those two were shot, because they shouldn't.
Well, even the police couldn't get control of them. The police had to shoot them to get into the house to rescue the family that was under attack. That's, and police officers don't want to discharge weapons in a backyard with a 3-year-old and a mother there. That's how bad they are, that the police had to let off a few rounds with the people they're trying to rescue so close. That's a dangerous shoot to make. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. All right. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Hey, Carol in Wisconsin. What's on your mind?
So I used to be a pet sitter, and I actually pet sit for some pit bulls. And I arrive to the house, I meet them, and they're like the most loving dog in the world you want to see. And I thought, okay, I'll take on the job. The people leave, they go to Minnesota. I show up to do the job, and there was no way I was going to enter that house. Those dogs, I thought, were going to jump through the glass and kill me.
Yeah.
Became so aggressive. I had to call the people in Minnesota and tell them, you need to come back and take care of your dogs, because there's no way I'm entering your house.
Yeah.
I even went and got the neighbor to see if the neighbor would help me, thinking maybe the neighbor knew him. No, the neighbor's like, you better get out of here, go. He goes, I'm going to call the cops.
Oh, my goodness.
And then I have one more. My sister's husband, he doesn't work because he has uncontrollable seizures. They're not sure why he's having them yet. So he was out last summer with his shepherd. He was like 8 months old, the shepherd was. The neighbor's pit bull managed to get that screen door open, came running at them, got a hold of his shepherd at the neck. He's yelling for help. The pit bull's not releasing him. Sean managed to, I'm going to cry. Sean managed to pull the gun out of his pocket because he has concealed carry, and he had to shoot the dog. He had to shoot the pit bull to save his shepherd.
Oh, my goodness.
Shortly after that, unfortunately, he went into seizure and had to go to the hospital.
Who, your friend or his dog?
This is my sister's husband.
Oh, the husband. The husband. He shot the pit bull to rescue his shepherd, and then he had a seizure from the stress of. Oh my goodness. And your experience is like mine with my grandparents' Cocker Spaniel. They go for the neck, and they do the same thing when they attack people. It's in their DNA, pit bulls, to go for the neck.
Dog. I will never. I don't pet sit anymore. I had a golden retriever behave the same way.
Yeah.
Into the house to take care of them, and the dog came after us. I'm standing on the kitchen table. She's on the counter. I had her break the screen out so she could get outside, so that I didn't bring the cell phone.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Well, so far the only pit bulls. Things happen with dogs, right? Like Biden's German Shepherd bit somebody, Major Biden the other. But pit bulls are different. There are whole organizations of advocacy around that breed. Yeah. Yeah.
I was in the thinking the way the dog trainer who called, if you train them right, treat them right, they'll be a good...
Yeah, but who the hell can afford a master dog trainer to train their undomesticated killer pit bull? How much training and cost would that cost? And then still it's an unknown.
They can't be trusted. There's just no way. You cannot trust a pit bull. I won't be around the pit bull, and just because of weird things like that, I no longer pet it. I don't trust going into some...
No, and another problem is a lot of people have them and they don't realize it's a pit bull because there's so many mixed breeds and they got a little of that pit in them, and then you're done. And I'll see people in my own neighborhood that are young parents walking a pit bull and then they got a stroller with the baby. I'm like, are you out of your mind? Mm-hmm.
Is the Humane Society. I asked one day, and they told me the way that they get around adopting out pit bulls is instead of them calling them a pit bull mix, they're calling them a lab mix.
Oh my goodness, because people don't want them, so they're... Listen, I am a dog lover. I'm not into euthanizing animals and everything, but pit bulls should not exist. All right, listen, I gotta run, but I appreciate the call and the comments. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. Phones are ringing like crazy. I'm Brian. This is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. We'll be back for the third and final hour right after this.
Covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you for years how
Right back,
great
guys.
My Pillow products are. But don't just take my word for it. This is one of our listeners, Todd. He bought the My Pillow mattress topper, and he called us live on the radio to tell us about his experience with the My Pillow mattress topper.
Yeah, I'm calling to get testimonial about my pillow topper.
You ordered the My Pillow, the mattress topper?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, I was thinking about buying a new mattress because my old mattress was getting old. So my wife's like, why don't you try that pillow, that mattress top? So I went on, I used your promo code Kane. I got great price. Got it home, and I've been using it for the last 3 nights. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's like a whole new mattress.
I've talked to other listeners with the My Pillow mattress topper, and they come in all sizes. The mattress companies have turned into con artists. When I was a kid, mattresses were two-sided. You'd have the mattress, then after a while you'd flip it over. Now you can't flip mattresses anymore. They don't make them that way anymore because people weren't buying mattresses enough. So the mattress companies stopped making two-sided mattresses, and mattresses are expensive. I've had to buy a new mattress, and mattresses can cost well over, just for a regular normal mattress, over $1,000. So that My Pillow mattress topper is a big savings. It saved you from buying a new mattress and turned your whole bed into a My Pillow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I really love it. I sleep really good.
Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate that. You guys out there, remember, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E.
And when you use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com, save 30% off your My Pillow mattress topper. And
yeah, this is one of my cruise shirts.
My Pillows, but you got to use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. 30% off the My Pillow mattress topper. Turn your old mattress into a big My Pillow mattress. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And now...
All right, 5 minutes after the hour, third and final hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig. This is The Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. I'll take some more calls before I bring up anything else. Our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name? Good morning. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name?
Wheezy.
Oh, hey, Wheezy. How you been?
I've been good, but yes, I was triggered this morning. Yes, I'm triggered, fella.
Oh.
I'm triggered this morning.
What did I do?
My finger couldn't help but dial this thing this morning.
I understand.
two things I'm triggered about. First thing I'm triggered about was the Rosa Parks thing that you referenced about. That you said that this woman should be compared to what Rosa Parks did.
Okay, now before you comment on that, let me catch people up to speed on what I was talking about so people can understand that may just be tuning in, all right? The woman that was arrested in the Bank of America in Texas over the weekend for not wearing a mask has been arrested again in Texas. And what I was talking about is, like Rosa Parks, she is going around on purpose getting arrested to try to make a greater civil rights point. So so how can you take issue with that? Yeah, tell me what's wrong with that.
My issue with the fact that comparing Rosa Parks to this woman who's running around not wanting to wear a mask in the middle of a pandemic that's spreading and killing people, compared to when Rosa Parks did what she did to stop people from hanging, killing, abusing, and everything else that was being done to a black person.
Okay, what happened with Rosa Parks? Tell me about Rosa Parks. What happened? Why is she? Tell me the story.
Story do I need to tell about Rosa Parks? We all know Rosa Parks' story.
Well, apparently you don't. What happened? How did she get? Why do we all know her name?
Name because she did what she did to get the response.
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, Rosa Parks is one of the greatest Americans that have ever lived. Okay, and I know a lot of, Harriet Tubman. There's some controversy about her being on the 20. I would have no problem with Rosa Parks being on one of our denominations, because she was a great person. But what she did was a publicity stunt. She was a leader on the board of the local NAACP, and that was a staged event. She got on that bus to get arrested that day, and they set it up so that she would get national publicity. Okay, which is fine. It doesn't take away what she did, and what she did was great.
This woman who wants to spread, if she had COVID and could be asymptomatic and don't know if she got it, but it's okay that she thinks that she could walk in the store and spread COVID because she chooses not to.
Well, this woman, okay, what
comparison?
Yeah, because she is, and first off, she's been in the news for the past 5 or 6 days. I haven't heard anything about her having COVID. So, and she's not going in places to spread something. If you have an illness or a disease that is contagious and you purposely spread it to people knowingly, that's a crime. There are people that have gone to prison because they knowingly gave people AIDS by having unprotected sex and not disclosing it.
I guess you do know what asymptomatic means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Have it and don't even realize it.
But what she's doing, Wheezy, is to her and to many millions of people in this country. We're not in the middle of a pandemic. We're at the end of the pandemic, and there's no mask mandate in Texas. And millions of Americans, I don't necessarily agree with it, but millions of Americans believe that going maskless is freedom. And what she is doing is she is at this point going around her name's Terry Wright. She's traveling through Texas, purposefully getting arrested. Like some of these business owners that defied local ordinances and stayed open during the pandemic. She in her mind, she's a Rosa Parks.
No, in her mind, she's not no Rosa Parks. And comparing her to Rosa Parks is stupid because she's doing something that's stupid that can harm other people. So no, you can't compare her to Rosa.
Well, disrupting a public bus like Rosa Parks did is dangerous too.
Do you know why Rosa Parks did what she did?
Yes.
The reason why you don't understand racism.
I know everything there is to know about Rosa Parks.
You have no idea about what racism is.
Oh, please. And you do? And you do? And you do? Tell me about the last time you experienced racism.
Oh my gosh, you want to know the last time I experienced racism?
Yeah, the last time.
Okay, let me tell you. The last time I experienced racism, I went into the store during this pandemic to get some stuff from Home Depot for my friend who couldn't get out because her husband is stroked and she couldn't get out the house. Wanted a tent outside for the kids. I got the stuff for her. I went to Home Depot. I went to pay for it. She calls me on the phone while I'm in line. She says, Lori, I need batteries. Well, whatever.
It's okay. There's lots of Lori's, Wheezy. Don't worry about people knowing your first name.
Whatever. She says, I need batteries. I said, okay, good. They're right here at the register. I picked up the batteries, scanned them, paid for them. All of a sudden, this white guy comes behind me and says, you didn't pay for that stuff in that basket. I turn around to him, what are you talking about? You didn't pay for that stuff in the basket. I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, you tell me, show me what you're talking about. Okay, he comes to the cash register. I step to the side. He says, you didn't pay for the stuff in this basket. He goes, takes his little card, sticks it up to the thing, rings, and pulls my receipt back up because I had pushed pay. He pulls the thing back up. He looks at the card. He looks at the screen. He looks at the card. He looks at the screen. He says, oh. I'm like, oh, but then this way, he done yelled it and every...
Okay, slow down. So you believe that was racism?
Oh, yes. He didn't finish there. Then after he did that and stepped where he realized he was wrong, he gonna take his arms and cross them and stand directly behind me.
So let me ask you, when you called the manager over and said that you were being discriminated against based on race, what did the manager tell you?
The manager told me, I didn't call him.
Oh, you didn't call the manager. You didn't call the manager.
Found the manager after the fact.
Okay, and you told the manager what?
Happened.
And you told the manager that you were a victim of racism from a white racist employee?
Say it like that. I'm not ignorant.
Really? Well, okay. Well, maybe when you called the NAACP local chapter or the local BLM, what did they tell you about the incident?
Well, I really didn't call.
Oh, so what you're telling me is, this is an interesting thing. So there's a Home Depot in your city that has a white racist who is regularly, possibly because they did it to you, discriminating against African Americans in the store, and you're allowing this white racist to continue to victimize other African Americans at this Home Depot? Don't you think you should stop this racism? Shouldn't you do something about it?
You know what? I am going to do something about it.
Oh, yeah?
And turn around and to find out that the manager, his words to me was, well, down the road down there, that's a bad area. So we kind of...
Okay. So you did nothing. So you've done nothing. So Wheezy, this is interesting. So you've done nothing. Why are you allowing a white racist who discriminates against African Americans at your local Home Depot? Why are you not doing anything about it? Why are you calling me in Florida as opposed to calling the local news stations?
Me a question. Don't be crazy.
Well, no. Rosa Parks did something about it. Rosa Parks saw that there was racial discrimination on public transportation in Montgomery, Alabama, and she did something about it. What if you're allowing the racist to continue to discriminate against black people by your story?
Well, then why are you asking me to go and start a movement?
The movement already exists. It's called the NAACP and BLM. Okay, now slow down a second here. Okay, now you've been exposed. Let me tell you the reality. Yesterday, I was at Lowe's, which is the equivalent, right, to Home Depot. I went to the back of the store and bought some tile. I'm tiling my bathroom. I bought some tile, I bought some grout, and I bought a ceiling fan and a couple of other things. And I paid for it in the flooring department. And I had it in a big, it's Lowe's, not Home Depot, but it's the same thing. I went to walk out the front door and I was stopped. Oh my goodness. I was stopped by a woman. She was white too. What do you think she stopped me for? I'm white.
Oh, you tell.
Because they check receipts at the doors of Home Depot and Lowe's, because a lot of the stuff is not bagged and people can easily walk out with things without paying. They checked and not only did they check my receipt, she found a problem with my receipt and she called over a supervisor, and I had to go to customer service, and it took me about 10 minutes to deal with that to make sure everything was properly paid for. It was, but they checked.
That I told you.
Well, because the same thing happened to you that happened to me. But they have a policy of checking receipts at the doors.
Wait a minute. No, she didn't stand up in the middle of the store and
Super Chat.
yell,
Thank you.
You stealing. She didn't.
Oh, now you're adding. Now that was a part of the story you left out before. All of a sudden, because you were exposed, now the story gets in. Now the story gets more detailed. They have They have a policy, Wheezy.
Enough to listen.
You didn't say that the first time. Now you're revising your statement.
Yes, I did.
You did not. You did not.
I told you, he walked over.
Now, no, you said he a minute ago. You said she.
He.
Wheezy, out of all the callers to the program, you've got the biggest mouth of all of them, and you're telling me that somebody yelled out at Home Depot, "She's stealing," and you were as please. They have They have a policy like I dealt with yesterday to check receipts.
Wait a minute. I said he yelled out, "You didn't pay for the stuff in that basket."
No. You're changing your tone. You're changing your tone. No one believes your story. Your story is my story. They check everybody's receipt at the door.
Yet I was still at the cash register.
So do this. So call the local. Listen. I know you've told me before. You're in New York. You're in New York. You've told us before. You're in New York. You have the most active. Because in New York, you have the most. No, I asked you. I'm talking about your story.
Lying. Now you're lying.
What am I lying about?
Say that, and you're trying to make it seem.
You've told me in the past you're in New York. It's relevant. You were in the city that has the most active NAACP and BLM chapters in America.
NAACP.
Why? But there are racists at your Home Depot that are accusing black people of stealing.
Why didn't you call Trump when they asked you for your receipt then?
Because it wasn't discrimination. It's a policy to check receipts at the door.
I didn't get to the door, so it's not the same thing.
No, it's before you get to the door. They check everyone's receipt. I check everyone's receipt. I didn't leave the store either. Listen, if you were a victim of racism... Yeah, because I'm a rational person. Everything's a racial slight. Everything is a racial slight to you.
You're racist and don't even know it.
I know. Now, listen, if you were a victim of racism, why have you not contacted the New York branch of Black Lives Matter?
Oh, well, we're probably not going to get away with this, but the other...
Yeah, because you know, there's a difference between my story and your story. Mine is real.
Hey.
Mine is real.
Yours is not real.
Yeah, it happened yesterday.
It's my story. You asked me what happened to me. You didn't ask me what happened.
No one believes a woman with your personality was called a racist out loud on a store floor. You have not done anything about it. And by the way, if it happened, you should do something about it. I don't agree with. If that happened, I'd want that person in all kinds of trouble. But you didn't do anything about it.
Do you think I need to tell you?
You are enabling. But if your story is true.
How do I have that? I got to tell you everything.
If what you said is true, you have allowed a racist to continue to be free to discriminate against blacks at Home Depot.
Now, wait a minute. So do you know what I told that man?
No, not what you told. What have you done about it? Why have you not contacted the New York City BLMers?
Long enough for me to tell you.
All right, walk us through.
If he didn't get from behind me, that he was going to have a big problem.
Oh, you threatened to assault him? You threatened violence? Have you even tried to call? Have you tried to contact? Excuse me.
From behind me.
Have you reached out to Home Depot corporate yet?
Yes.
Oh, all of a sudden, what did they tell you?
No. Why would I tell you that when you're going to switch it around like you do? I don't need to tell you everything. I know.
See, the reason you're not telling me everything is at this point you're making it up as you go. There's a little bit of germ of truth. You're making things up as you go. All right, Wheezy, I got to take a break. I've got to take a break. Okay? Thank you for your call. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back.
Paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone.
There's a little germ of truth to the story. She went to Home Depot, she bought some things, and they checked the receipt at the door, like they did me yesterday. And they made a big deal with me yesterday at Lowe's. I was at the registers leaving. They made me walk all the way up to the entrance of the store to customer service. So there's a germ of truth. They check receipts in these stores. Just like they check at Walmart. Every time I leave Walmart, they check in receipts.
cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive, and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, guys. Didn't have my mic on there. Welcome back. By the way, Friendly Tire in Margate, they are open on Saturdays. I know we have listeners that drive over an hour each way to go to Friendly Tire in Margate. That's true. And I know a lot of you may not be able to do that during the week, so head on over to Friendly Tire on Saturdays because they are open on Saturdays. I've been a customer there for over a decade. And call Friendly Mike. He'll give you a quote right over the phone. No matter what vehicle you have, commercial vehicles, right, your private vehicle. I see all kinds of cars over there. I see, we had a listener call yesterday who's taking his Caddy over there. I see high-end cars, Vets, Porsches, and I see rust buckets that I don't know how they're on the road going over to Friendly Tire in Margate. Everyone goes to Friendly Tire in Margate that knows about it because their prices are so low. They have all the brands that you know and love, like Michelin, Goodyear, Firestone. They have thousands of used tires in stock as well, starting at just $30 for most sizes. And they also do tire repairs, which very few tire places do. Call Friendly Mike. He'll give you a quote right over the phone, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net. Friendly Tire in Margate. Tell Friendly Mike you heard about him on the radio. Oh, man. Now, before I go to the phones, we have a full board. There's a germ of truth to Wheezy's story. She did go to Home Depot and buy something, and they checked her receipt at the door. Like they checked my receipt at Lowe's yesterday. Like they check my receipt when I go to Walmart before I walk out, too. Okay? Some of the other things she added because everything to her is a racial slight. Okay? And I was pissed yesterday when they stopped me and then they called someone from customer service, and I was already there for over an hour buying all this stuff. You know, that's what happens. All right, let's go to our phones. But everything is not a racial incident. And notice how she kept adding things on. Adding things on. All right, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Mike.
Sophie, thanks for that super chat. Yeah, Mike, go ahead.
Anyway, I'm going to make it short and sweet because, like most conservatives, I'm at work.
Oh yes.
I mean, really steamed today. I've been in retail loss prevention for 23 years. Don't do it anymore. I have my own business. But I'll tell you this. I'm a white guy. She is the most racist person that calls your show. Everything, her life revolves around race and the hatred of white people. She cannot stand them. And I'll tell you another thing. As far as shoplifting and all that kind of stuff, 95 to not maybe 90% of my apprehensions were on Caucasians.
Yeah.
And
let me ask you, when you did loss prevention, what? Because you're not in that business anymore. What retailer did you work at?
I worked for Macy's.
You worked for Macy's. You worked for Macy's. I used to shop at Macy's till they tossed out the Trump stuff. But, you know, listen, I would imagine, I had a friend that did loss prevention at Kmart, and he just spent all his days watching the makeup section on the cameras, and, you know, get people all day doing that. But, here's the thing. I would imagine that most people that are in loss prevention that are white let black people get away with stuff sometimes because you're afraid that they're going to start calling you a racist, and then that goes up the ranks and you're done, right? I mean, I would be nervous.
Glad you just said that because that's the whole thing. When I was with Macy's and if we had a person of color that was like an employee that was a dishonest employee, we'd have to have not double but triple the evidence in order for that, because, you know, it's such a delicate situation. And then the last thing I'll say is, you know, when you're walking the floor, a lot of that job is walking the floor. A lot of it's camera, but a lot of it's walking the floor. If you happen to
Florence, $10 super chat. Thank you so much.
That's black. More than one. And I'm a tall white guy, so it was always Why are you watching me? I'm not stealing. I ain't doing nothing.
Now, that being said, when I was a kid, I've talked about this. My first like regular job, like other than mowing lawns and stuff, was working at Publix, right? And I was like 15 or 16. So this was like 86, 87 here in South Florida. And I worked at the Publix on Davie Boulevard, and which is still there, although it's been torn down and rebuilt. And this was the 80s, and it was a different time in the 80s. And I would see sometimes black people come in and be followed around by the managers. Okay, because you got we had these old good old boys back then in those days, but we're not. It's not 1987 anymore. You know what I mean? It's a different world. But Wheezy's still back in that era. So let me ask you. So did you let black people get away with theft because you didn't have an overwhelming? You didn't have multiple examples, and you were afraid you'd be called a racist?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Did you ever let white people get away with theft for the same reason?
No, no, because it's not the same kind of situation. It just isn't.
You're afraid because if they call you a racist, you could be out of work.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. Well, okay, all right. What line of work are you in now? You're in business for yourself. What do you do now?
Yeah, I do security still. It's over the internet. We watch high-dollar commercial properties.
Oh, interesting. All right, hey, listen, take care. Thanks for the call. All right, let's go. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Brian.
Hey, Richie. Oh, by the way, a lot of people, Richie the bus driver was not the man who threw Rosa Parks off the bus and called the cops. A lot of people think that's him, but it's not. That guy's got to be dead by now.
Weezy's going to make me call. I happen to believe 100% of what she said to you. I really do. The problem I have with Wheezy is her hatred for the past. She can't let it go. And it's a shame. There's a lot of black people that can't let it go. And
oh, really? You think Wheezy was in Home Depot this week and they said that they accused her of stealing in a racist way and she didn't do anything about? Come on, with her her mouth is bigger than yours, Richie.
Well, listen, I believe it. I think her perception towards everything is slanted because of her hatred.
No, Richie, you're cutting out, so maybe you got to call back because your cell's not doing too well. I'm sorry, Richie. Good morning. You're on the radio. Maybe it's on my end. Oh, second call in a row. Good morning. You're on the air. Once, twice. All right. Let's try it again. Good morning. Not doing too good on the phones here. Yeah, you're on the radio. What's your name?
Louise from Boca.
Hey, Louise in Boca. How you doing?
Yeah, they used to call me Wheezy, too. I don't believe that story at all. First of all, what does that have to do with being black? If you think someone's stealing, I don't care if they're black or white, you're going to address it. First of all, they don't make a big issue. When I knew someone in that business, and they are very quiet about accosting someone if they think they're stealing. They don't make a big issue.
By the way, if they think someone, I should have talked to the loss prevention guy about it, but I didn't think to ask him this. But I know when somebody is okay, there are people that retailers believe or have shoplifted. They don't stop them for shoplifting until they leave the store, because even if the item is in their purse, pocket, or backpack, and they're in the store. Legally, they've not stolen it yet. They could still claim they were going to pay for it. You can't stop a shoplifter until they've left the store. Okay, so that part of the story doesn't even compute.
Absolutely true. And first of all, they don't make a screaming, "You're stealing!" They don't do that.
Yeah, I know. Come on.
Does that have to do with being a racist thing?
Well, because she was. I asked her to give an example of the last time she had experienced racism, and she was pressured to craft a story.
Exactly.
And every time I ask her something, well, when you called corporate, I absolutely. I was like feeding her answers. She was every time I asked her, she was adding something onto it.
Exactly. I wanted to ask something. I didn't follow the story about the person in the bank. Now, did the management come over to...
Management, the branch manager called the police because she wasn't wearing a mask.
He just tell her, you must wear a mask to enter the building. I don't know.
Well, he arrived after she was in line. If you watch the go online and find the video.
Computer, but our stores in Boca require masks. But a manager would come over and say, you must leave the store if you're not wearing a mask.
Well, I bank at Bank of America. And Bank of America, I find that I like to go, I go inside the bank a lot because if I'm doing financial things, I like to deal with a person. And they've closed down the drive-thrus basically at Bank of America, very shameful Bank of America, forcing you in. Yeah, I don't like making deposits in ATMs. I'm paranoid about making deposits at ATM. But anyway, forgetting about that. But I mean, but I have noticed that they are very rough on customers over the mask issue. They have armed guards in the banks enforcing mask mandates inside the Bank of America. And going to a Bank of America, it's like being in a jail. And I go there. It's my bank. They're not treating you well. No one talks. All the customers are silent because they're afraid. I mean, they don't treat their customers well at Bank of America over this.
But I have to differ.
Well, there's one on every corner, so that's why.
One in Boca, and they don't do that at all.
Well, okay. Well, you've got a good branch.
I got annoyed because I didn't think the people were standing far enough apart. Don't do that.
Oh, okay. So you're one of these people that are into them.
No, did the manager come over and...
Yeah, the manager asked her to put a... See, in Texas, there's no mask mandate, like in Florida. The branch manager asked her to put a mask on. She refused. So they called the police, and the police arrested her.
I didn't know because you never mentioned that.
Mm-hmm. Listen, I got to run, though, but thanks for the call. Okay, if you're on hold, stand by. One opening on the board at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
Brian Craig here. I've been telling you for years how great MyPillow products are, but don't just take my word for it. This is one of our listeners, Todd. He bought the MyPillow mattress topper, and he called us live on the radio to tell us about his experience with the MyPillow mattress topper.
Yeah, I'm calling to get testimonial about my pillow topper.
You ordered the MyPillow, the mattress topper?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well, I was thinking about buying a new mattress because my old mattress was getting old. So my wife's like, why don't you try that pillow, that mattress topper? I went on, I used your promo code Kane. I got a great price. Got it home, and I've been using it for the last 3 nights. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome.
It feels like a whole new mattress.
I talked to other listeners with the MyPillow mattress topper, and they come in all sizes. The mattress companies have turned into con artists. When I was a kid, mattresses were two-sided. You'd have the mattress, then after a while you'd flip it over. Now you can't flip mattresses anymore. They don't make them that way anymore because people weren't buying mattresses enough. So the mattress company stopped making two-sided mattresses, and mattresses are expensive. I've had to buy a new mattress, and mattresses can cost well over, just for a regular normal mattress, over $1,000. So that MyPillow mattress topper is a big savings. It saves you from buying a new mattress and turn your whole bed into a MyPillow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I really love it. I sleep really good.
Well, that's great. Well, I appreciate that. And you guys out there, remember, promo code Kane, K-A-N-E.
Now, when you use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com, save 30% off your MyPillow mattress topper and receive 2 free MyPillows. But you got to use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper. Turn your old mattress into a big MyPillow mattress. Promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at MyPillow.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time?
Florence, $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Florence.
Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855.
Virginia, $25 super chat. Thank you so much, Virginia. Thank you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show.
Those super chats are very much appreciated. All right, guys, we are back. I'm Brian. One opening on the board at 1-888-GO-KANE-1. All right, let's go back to these busy phones. You're on the radio. What's your name?
What's up, Brian? It's Tony from Pompano.
Hey, Tony.
And everything good. We're back on air.
We're on the air, yes. If you're talking to me, assume you're on the radio, yes.
Yeah. I'm fine. You were wrong, man, how you did weekend. You lied on her, too. She told the truth about the story, but you lied on her. You didn't hear her story. You didn't hear her whole story correctly. I'm assuming that.
What did I... first off, do you know, what is a lie? You say I lied. Don't tell me what the lie was yet. Tell me what your definition of a lie is. Maybe your definition of a lie is something different than mine.
Well, you just told a story.
A lie is telling something with knowledge that it's not true, presenting it as truth, right? Presenting something that's not true as truth, knowingly doing so is a lie. There's a difference between lying and being mistaken. You do understand that, right?
I understand it 100%, but...
okay, but what did I lie about with Wheezy? Tell me what I lied about with Wheezy.
She told you her story, and she told you her story 100%. Everything. I don't know if it's true 100%, but you did not repeat her story. You in her story said stuff that she did not say. At the end, you were trying to say that she said the truth, but she was trying to mix it up when she was saying.
I don't understand what you're saying. I asked her to give an example of the last time she experienced racism, and she talked about having her receipt checked at Home Depot.
Talking about how the dude came up behind her and just automatically screamed and said that she was stealing. And she didn't. She was looking at like...
well, I don't believe her. Wheezy's got the biggest mouth. She's got a bigger mouth than Richie the bus driver, okay? Which is fine. It has to do with... it has everything to do with it. Listen, let me explain. Richie's a big mouth, right? Richie the bus driver. Wheezy is Richie times 10. And that's cool. That's fine. That's fine. No. Listen to what I'm saying. Time is we're almost out of time, okay? And so the show's almost over, and I got breaks still, so I got to get to it quick. Listen to what I'm saying. Don't wait to talk. Listen to what I'm saying. Wheezy is a very strong-willed woman who's not afraid to speak her mind. For her to expect us to believe that someone accused her of stealing when she didn't, and there was a racial component to it, and she didn't raise holy hell until she had the district manager and corporate on the line, is not believable. Okay? It's not believable based on her personality type. Just wouldn't happen. There's no way.
According to you, the person who knows everybody, based on everybody's personality, according to you.
I have talked to thousands of callers on the radio for 30 years, and I'm a good judge of character.
But because you come off as that type of person, you saying you don't believe it because you would have...
she would have raised holy hell. She would have raised so much hell that the police would have been called.
You don't raise holy hell in every situation that you go. You can have a conversation with.
No. If I'm accused, if I'm out in public and I'm accused of shoplifting when I didn't, you better damn well believe I'm going to raise holy hell. Absolutely.
Not every time, Brian. Not every time. There will be some time where you'll be like, what the hell?
No.
You go real there.
Wheezy is always belligerent. Don't you understand that?
Who?
Wheezy is always belligerent.
Wheezy is not always belligerent.
Oh, do you know her personally?
No, you don't know her personally, so you...
I know her better than you think. I know her better than you think.
Well, no, you assume that you know her better than you think, or you don't see her every day, right?
Well, why? They checked my receipt at Lowe's when I left yesterday after I paid. They checked my receipt at...
She never got to the door.
The registers are at the door. I didn't leave. She was inside and I was inside.
She was still at the checkout counter. You never listened to the story.
Why did Wheezy not tell she's in New York City? Why did she not call the local BLM or NAACP?
Not like that, Brian.
So Wheezy is allowing a racist worker to harass African Americans at the New York City Home Depot? Is that what you're telling me?
Every time somebody bullied you when you was in school, you went and told? Every time somebody gave you some problem, you went and told somebody?
We're not talking about a child in school. We're talking about an adult woman who is allowing a man who's racist to harass African Americans.
I'm talking about you. Every time a situation comes up, you go run to the police? Every time? No, you don't.
If I were at a store and I was stopped and accused and investigated for shoplifting and I didn't do it, I wouldn't leave until I had justice. I wouldn't allow that to happen, especially if I were black and it was being done by a white racist.
You know, like I know, every situation, every conversation you have, you don't call police. So let's be honest.
All right. Hey, listen, I'm going to run, but take care. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hi, Brian. This is Rolanda.
Hey.
I just wanted to give a little historical context with respect to Rosa Parks. My father, he passed recently, and a few others who were in the civil rights movement will tell you that back in the day, back during the 1950s, during Martin Luther King's era, Rosa Parks' era, there was an unspoken rule that if you were black and a white person came on the bus and the bus was crowded, whether you were a black woman, black man, or child, you had to give up that seat.
Correct. That's correct.
I say all of that to say this. When I go to Walmart, and I'm just going to be flat up honest with you. Now, Weezy had an experience. She said she had an experience. And when I've gone to Lowe's just like you have, Brian. I'll be flat up honest with you. The only time I have ever been stopped for anything was to check my receipt.
Yes.
Now, I don't know what type of, maybe the person she dealt with was an employee that had a bad day or he saw something. But I've always been, and even here at Walmart, this is nice, and many of them are black employees.
Yes.
Will check your receipt. I want to bring that up too. And they have to check that receipt to see that everything you got is in keeping with that receipt. That's something that they can, you may not like it, you may hate it, but that's the name of the game. I've been in retail myself. Okay, I worked in the club. I worked at Sears. Listen, they have to do this, and
I'm not going to say the name of the place because I told this story on the air once, and boy, did I get holy hell for it. But I was at a restaurant in Miami Beach once where they checked to make sure you paid before you left the restaurant. And I was in shock. I never experienced such a thing. And, you know, see, everything with Wheezy is a racial slight. Everything. I mean, it's a sad reality.
Here's the problem we're having today. Let's bring it up to 2021. We have a mask mandate that has just been rescinded in Texas. We have here in Florida, unless it's a business, you are required to wear a mask, but you don't have to wear a mask in your car, like I see certain people doing, and it's silly, to be honest with you. To me, it is. But I see the anger and why people are angry at Biden. They're angry at the Kerrys of this world because we got people at the border right now who are not wearing masks. They're wearing Biden T-shirts, and they're coming across the border, and I don't care what.
Well, maybe they can lift the T-shirt over their nose and mouth when they're walking across the border, maybe, you know. Listen, Roland, I'm sorry to cut you short, but I got a break. It's time for the last break of the show. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our break, come back with the Gold Report, and I'll squeeze in as many of these calls on hold that I possibly can in our final moments. Don't go anywhere. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. That's right, on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Steve Kane Radio. Listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to Champagne Automotive, and I got to say that this man is the most fair mechanic I have dealt with in my entire life. We took a car over there that was not being used yet. You know, it belonged to my 90-year-old dad. Everybody I had taken it to before was charging an astronomical amount of money. But when we took it over there, Eddie took a look at it, and I got to say that this man fixed the car. It's running like a charm. Anybody that needs a mechanic, I strongly recommend Eddie, and he is just the best thing that's happened to this family as far as car maintenance goes. It's fixed. Bottom line, it's fixed, and the price was right.
Thank you, everyone, for the super chats today. They're very much appreciated. All right, we're coming back.
Repair in Boca. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All right, welcome back. 46 minutes after the hour. This is the Steve Kane Show. Steve will be back with us tomorrow. I'm Brian, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the morning's Gold Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today? Oh, that might be my phone. Hold on. I think I clicked the wrong line, William. William, you with us? Okay, I'm sorry. I clicked the wrong line. That's my fault. So, how are the metals looking today, William Youngerman?
Giving us a little bit of a pullback after yesterday's nice run-up. Yesterday, gold got up to $1,753, which was up about $25. It closed up $14.20 at $1745.50. Silver got up to $26.61 an ounce and then pulled back to $26.31. That was still up 41 cents on the day. While platinum was down $4 yesterday, closing at $12.04. And palladium has been really moving lately, up $82 yesterday at $2,486. This morning we got, as I said, a pullback on gold, down $16.50, back down to the $1,729 number. Gold has seemed to have good support around that $1,720 lately. Silver down 16 cents at $26.15. Again, silver having good support around the $26 number. Platinum up $11 this morning at $1,215, while palladium is up another $116 at $2,602 the ounce. Bitcoin is 57,700, and the 10-year bond has moved up to 1.75%. And the U.S. dollar is showing some more strength. So this is putting a little pressure on gold, preventing us from really breaking out to the upside, although we are doing very well above that $1,700 number.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, pullbacks are also known as buying opportunities, right? That's right. William Youngerman, you can find him online at williamyoungerman.com. His shop is open weekdays at 10 a.m., located on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. And the number 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. All right, William Youngerman, we'll finish out the week tomorrow. All right, take care. Now, before we go back to the phones, I got to mention here, because mentioned it briefly yesterday, I did a huge chunk of my podcast last night on this topic, so go check out my podcast when I get off the air here. But those of you out there that have been purchasing MyPillow products, I want to give a personal thank you from the Steve Kane Show and from MyPillow. I talk to the office of Mike Lindell often, and they want me to personally thank you for the support. You know, Mike Lindell is going through a lot, and a story came out yesterday. He has not been home in 2 months over fears for his personal safety. He is getting a lot of threats. He has not been home in 2 months. He's not seen his family for 2 months. He is spending the night in random locations. He's living like Arafat used to live, having to sleep in different places every night. If he makes a personal appearance, it is a spur-of-the-moment, unannounced appearance because he doesn't want to endanger others. And it's all because he is supporting Trump. He is working hard for Trump. He's working hard for the MAGA movement. He's working very hard. He's putting together this new social media platform where all voices will be welcome. So, you know, the best thing you can do, and it's a twofer for you because you're not just supporting Mike Lindell and MyPillow, but the Steve Kane Show. Go to MyPillow.com. There's incredible deals. Mother's Day is right around the corner. There is something there for every mother on your list. And by the way, mother isn't just your mom. It's your grandmother. It's your wife. And your daughters, too, if they have kids. They're all mothers. Sometimes some of you out there think I'm a mother of a different kind, but Mother's Day is right around the corner. There is something for every mom on your Mother's Day gift-giving list at MyPillow.com. Incredible deals when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E. All right, you can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. You know, Alan Dershowitz has joined Mike Lindell's legal team. So, yeah, I know. MyPillow.com with that promo code Kane is becoming like a legal defense fund of sorts because of all this legislation that he's going to be facing. This social media network, he's going to face more opposition from that than you can imagine. So thank you guys for your support and continue to do so. All right, let's go back to our phones. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Hi, good morning.
Yes, you're on the air. What's your name?
Hi, Brian. My name is Julie.
Hey, Julie.
So I've never heard your show before, and I just kind of tuned in, and I heard the beginning of it, and you were talking about the horrific crime yesterday.
Mm-hmm. And the Asian massage parlor shootings.
Yes, but they weren't all Asian, right? And
well, there were some people there for massages that were shot too. Yeah.
I mean, just the whole thing is for.
But the target were the massage people.
Yes, but I don't. I think getting back to your original point that it was not a hate crime according to the shooter, and I think that in America today, I, as someone who was born in America, consider myself an American. Might have Native American descent, Irish, English.
Well, if you're born in America, I was born in America, we're Native Americans. We were born here. But, you know, I'm going to rush you through this a little bit because the show's almost over. You're new here. Where are you listening to us? On the radio, online? How are you listening to us?
Online.
Online, okay. Okay. Where's Bonita? What state is that? Oh, you're in Bonita. Oh, Bonita Springs, Florida. Okay. I've never heard someone say just Bonita. I've always heard Bonita Springs. Well, we're in South Florida. Well, here's the thing. The media want to blame this on Trump and say anti-Asian hate crimes are occurring because of Trump blaming China for the pandemic. And this may be that, but it looks to me as if this guy has a problem. He said sex addiction. He was targeting. Everyone knows massage parlors, Asian massage parlors, a huge percentage of them are houses, they're brothels. And the women that work inside of them, it's not like Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts where they're all empowered women who won't kiss on the mouth, but they're prostitutes because they're working their way through law school or something, you know. They're sex slaves. They're sex slaves.
Speaks to the moral decay here in America. And the fact that these women are sex slaves, someone put them in that position. And there's such a disrespect of both men and women in this country.
Well, no one's talking about it. Even there were huge demonstrations going on around the country in the last 24 hours with Asian civil rights organizations, and none of them are talking about the sex slavery in these brothels.
That actually is my point here is the lack of respect for women and just the human being.
Hello.
And so that comes from,
hey, hold on.
You know, men who frequent these places, or women, if women.
Ah.
Right?
Yes.
And so I had this conversation, 15 years ago with a young male friend who, would frequent strip clubs.
Yeah.
If that was your daughter up there. And he couldn't relate until he had a daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
well, here's the thing. We're almost out of time. Welcome to the program. Call in earlier next time so you have more time, okay? Because we're running towards the end of the show. But here's the deal. These massage parlors. The women inside are not prostitutes by choice. They are usually people that are tricked into an immigration scam to get over here. Now they got to work off their debt. They're slaves. It's sex servitude. And the media don't want to, they're the big defenders of women unless it's a Democrat Governor Cuomo victimizing them or and now they want to turn this into some anti-Trump thing and they don't want to get to the bottom of it, and that's how it is. But listen, I got to run. Thanks for the call, and I'm glad you found us. All right, now it's time to check in with Richard Pearl, whose show comes up right after the Steve Kane Show, weekdays on this radio station. Richard Pearl on politics. Hey, Richard Pearl.
Good morning.
How are you?
Like every day, there's a new thing to make us disturbed. The people who work there are victims. I have a friend of mine who's an accountant who has some as clients in the past, and they're all sex brothels. There probably is a legitimate one, but it's not the norm. It's the exception.
That's right.
For the most part, the people that are in there are forced. They come from China. This is what they're forced to do. And, the local governments allow these places to be open. Again, they're not all that way, but
99% of them are sex slave shops. These are,
I deal with a lot of people who have cardiovascular disease, and a lot of these people have gum disease also. And one of the things that people have is bleeding gums, and sometimes it's gingivitis, certainly, but bleeding gum is also caused by a lack of vitamin C. And we think of vitamin C requirements because of scurvy, so we don't want scurvy. So then we say, well, we need a minimum amount of vitamin C. So what you see on a bottle is 60 milligrams, which is something they put out in the 1960s. It's not, it's not a real number in terms of really being helpful. But vitamin C affects a lot of things. It affects a lot of disease states, and of course,
Steve
you
Kane
can
Show.
look at bleeding gums, but also there's brain
Hello.
issues, the heart, kidney issues. Simply by taking vitamin C, you can affect some of
today.
these areas, these other organs. But
I'm going to tell you why. It's none of your business.
There's a lot of people with gum disease, and you really got to get your vitamin C levels up, but not just take the stuff that you did at the drugstore or something like this with ascorbic acid. Unless it's bound to fat or unless it's a food form of vitamin C, it's not well absorbed. And so what we have is Simply Natural, or forms of like ascorbyl palmitate, which is a fat and water-soluble form of C. We've got food forms that have amplifiers and mitigators and protein transport. We've got some that are bound to liposomes or cyclosomes. These are fat-soluble forms of C. Again, very, very important to get absorbed. And the last thing I want to say about this, it's incredibly important. If you happen to be one of those people that get up in the middle of the night, brush your teeth. Just brush your teeth. Get rid of the bacteria that's sitting in your mouth, things that are creating havoc in your bloodstream, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Tell people if you've got gum disease, you got to take antibiotics if you're at the dentist so that you don't get bacteria that goes to the heart. Well, if you get up in the middle of the night and you have any kind of gum health issues, then it makes sense to brush your teeth a lot. Floss, get oil of oregano toothpaste, because that'll help kill off the magic mud, which is a powder that cleans the bacteria off the teeth. It's made of,
Well, we're running short on time, so I want to tell people how to reach you and how to find you. And Richard Pearl's store, Simply Natural, where he has all these great nutraceuticals you hear him talking about and so much more, basically anything that ails you, give him a call. His number at the store is 954-741-4045, 954-741-4045. They're open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. They're located in Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University. And, of course, don't touch that radio dial, because in just a few moments, his radio show, Richard Pearl on Politics, will begin on this radio station. All right, Richard Pearl, we'll finish out the week tomorrow. Have a great show. All right, take care. All right, guys, Steve will be back tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Great calls today. And we'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
You covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
All right, that's it for today. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Yeah, we're all out of time. I'm sorry. You have to call tomorrow, okay? The show just ended. I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. So we get calls after. I haven't turned the voicemail on. Usually I turn the voicemail on while I'm talking to Richard, and I just didn't do it today. Now, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And, I upload my podcast here as well. Had a great episode last night, and I just got some really nasty DMs on Twitter that I think I'll talk about on my next podcast. But subscribe, click that notification bell. If you're already subscribed, like the video. Liking the video helps get it out there a lot, and it really does. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.